Alright, exposing the grift. Sandajin cockroaches being a racist. Let's go. Oh, that's gonna look pretty loud.
Our pal Asmongold has responded to yours truly for the second time, and it's as dumb as the first time, only it's a fair bit longer than the previous response, but not by that much.
We gotta see what the hell is that bot he did.
And this one is
I think it was just a Twitter account,
the
right?
length of his response for two reasons. The first is to prepare you for the length of this video. I don't enjoy making long videos because the edit you see is significantly shorter than the time it took for me to edit. This is time and energy I can be spending on other non-YouTube parts of my life.
Zach is an Amos a lot too. He loves to run his mouth.
I am thorough. The second reason is because Asmongold is a liar and a hypocrite. As you will soon see, his excuse for not responding to my 1 hour video is that it's too long and his audience will zone out. But hilariously, his response to me is literally 1 hour long. Mind you, my video was 16 minutes. His response was over 3.5 times
Then
longer
we should
than
check
my
the
video.
website.
He says his audience doesn't want to watch
The
a
person fully
response to
planned
a
for
1
fun
hour
and
long
roast
video.
BJB, I
Is
see.
that why you made a 1 hour long video, Zach? No.
Yeah, what did you? Doesn't really like
is a coward.
like media
He
that is against
videos
them.
Off stream, decides if that video is too difficult for him to respond to, and then he mimes on stream like he's watching a video for the first time. The length of the thing he's responding to is completely irrelevant. This son of a bitch streams every day from 6 to 8 hours at a time. My video would have been 1/8 of the length of his entire stream. So in reality, he realized he couldn't refute the things I said in that video, and he did what all cowards do. Duck the smoke and wait for the heat to die down. So in all likelihood, this is exactly what he's going to do to this video, because I'm about to body bag this coward for 100 minutes straight. Let's get on with it.
Let's go back to this bitch.
Exposing the grift, Asmongold doesn't understand DEI and affirmative action. Uh-oh. This will be good. Round 2? Yes. Well, it's a shorter video.
It's actually
round
3. You were knocked down in round 2 and got saved by the bell, remember? But did you all hear what he just said? It's a shorter
BJP and the
video.
Congress combined, right?
Shorter than what video, Zach? Because my first video was less than 10 minutes, and the one you're responding to is just under 17. You see, he just let slip that he watched my hour-long video, proving that he purposefully avoided responding to it. Because he's a coward and realized he couldn't show his audience me dismantling his arguments. Arguments so paper-thin and surface level, they could be used for veneers. Veneers he clearly needs. Lord of the Fleas has blessed us with yet another shit take on Twitter, this time alleging that black people benefit from systematic racism.
Correct.
We're going to debunk this nonsensical claim.
Thank God.
And this time, I'll try to be as brief as I can for old double-digit IQ here. Because my last video was too long for him.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit around and react to a fucking video that's 1.5 hours long. It's too long. Yeah, it is.
He doesn't have that attention span.
I know that's your excuse, Zach. That's why I said that. But it's pretty funny how you act like you have anything better to do with your pathetic life. All you do is sit in that chair reacting to shit on the internet for 6 to 8 hours every single day.
Not reacting to the internet, reading Twitter and then making fun of the transgender people and black people or someone that he remotely even, what do you call it? Confronted his opinions, you know, his conservative, primitive opinion, like in
You're responding to my 16-minute video for 1 hour. It literally took you getting banned on Twitch for you to go to the dentist and get those circa 1923 pennies you call teeth looked at for the first time in 20 years. You have literally nothing better to do. You just don't have the balls to admit when you've been hacked.
I was only open to discover everything she said to you. I'll change it about any reasons. What happened to dude?
I'll have to re-explain
Everything
the
changed?
stop buttons for you, Zach, because
What
you were
changed?
too pussy to respond to my previous video where I cooked your monkey ass for over 1 hour. You know, the one where your excuse for ducking me was, 1 hour is too long for me to grift. That's like...
Yeah, it is, because the viewers are going to get bored. It takes too long. Like, we've got other things we need to go through and talk about. I don't have all day to talk about one thing.
I love the Freudian slip here, instantly demonstrating why having low impulse control and pausing before you fully heard a point being made is a bad thing. I said 1 hour is too long to Grift, he immediately pauses and
And then
says,
he just immediately said that yes.
An hour is too long for me to grift.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't it strange how you respond to the video where I barely talk about you at all, where you lied and claimed I
Some
called
of the
you
channels are
racist the
removed
whole
and you
video?
shared about the more things.
Mic
Oh,
drops, I
okay,
know.
okay.
So basically,
That one, yeah.
this guy spent his entire video calling me racist.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
Yeah. Let's ask the AI. Does the Birdman specifically call Asmongold a racist in this video? Explicitly label Asmongold a racist, but he does argue that the claim Asmongold made on social media is racist.
Bam. Flashbanged. Stunned into silence. This is precisely what he was trying to avoid by not responding to the other video, as it's full of moments just like that. Instant debunks to the bullshit this moron says. He lied, and we have proof that he lied. These are the things he doesn't want his audience to see, so he comes up with the too long excuse while responding to a 16-minute video for an hour. I'm not even going to get into him being unable to read.
Does the Birdman specifically
Specifically.
specifically
Specifically.
Specifically.
I just can't read.
No,
wait,
it's
you
all
always
how
said
you
your
doing?
plagiarism. Is this the other video? Let me go back and see it. I haven't seen it at all. Let me go pull this up. Right. Okay. So there you go. You're literally your own AI evaluation says this.
This moment was extremely damning for Asmongold. First, he proves in real time that his comprehension skills are extremely limited. He saw YouTube's AI clearly state, no, the Birdman does not explicitly label Asmongold a racist in this video, but instead argues the claim he made on social media was a racist claim. That's like almost word for word what I said in that first video. So this brings us back to Zach's tweet. Yes, this claim is racist because it was made by a racist whose entire purpose was to denigrate an entire continent to uphold white supremacist narratives.
Dude, these right-wing grifter cons, what they do is they just try to imply that the peoples they are against them are inferior. One way or possible. Like, look at this dog whistle this son of a bitch does, you know? Son of a bitch that was dead. He just implies that so many people are lower IQ and then says it's a fact. That is racist, you fucking imbecile. I could say the same thing as with the white people because they bombed Japan twice and then actively colonized America and then drove the Native Americans and then call them a terrorist too with that logic and then says it's a fact. You think how ridiculous that sounds? Because it is ridiculous.
This claim is racist because it was made by a racist whose entire purpose was to denigrate an entire continent to uphold white supremacist narratives like eugenics. So you see, the point
And if you guys noticed, throughout the history, most of this heinous shit that has been done to other racist people is because of white people, if you guys noticed it. You know, most of the colonization, most of the horrifying things like Hitler is a white guy. People who bombed Japan is a white guy. Most of these things are done by white people. You know, just saying.
Made was a direct refutation of the claim that Zach made. He'd made a tweet defending Donald Trump.
You don't run around and here Indian is going around and conquering everything, right?
Trump's
Or a freaking African. Why is that? I wonder.
Claimed that Somalis were low IQ, and my response was an entire video proving that Trump's claim was a racist.
Yeah, says the guy that Somalians have low IQ, which is the guy didn't even went to a college, you know? Just saying.
By going into the history of that claim and showing that it originates from Richard Lynn, a self-proclaimed racist. Again, I'm saying the claim Trump made was racist, and Zach was arguing that it wasn't. In other words, we're not even talking about Zachariah Hoyt. We are talking about Donald J. Trump. Literally at no point in that video did I call Zach a racist, and that's what YouTube's AI communicated here. Somehow, he thinks YouTube saying, no, Birdman did.
I think he should call that guy racist. He's been racist, transphobic. What else is that? He's doing that every other heinous shit you can possibly think
Call you
of
a racist.
in the Twitter platform. And I don't know why people still could still haven't banned this as for a longer
Is YouTube
time.
saying, yes, Birdman did call you a racist?
Because as soon as he gets his ass banned, he will imply, and then a dog whistle that he didn't say it outright. But this bitch will imply it. These are the things that right-wing people do most of the time. They imply racism, they imply transphobia, but they don't have the balls to say it outright. You know? They are cowards that cannot even say the things they believe in, openly. They imply it.
This guy's a moron. And second, Zach's screen is proving that he pre-watches videos he reacts to on stream. If you look at the URL bar when he goes to search, he has a pre-made URL replete with the exact timestamp he needs to attempt to prove his point. So as you can see, his reactions are not honest or genuine. He comes into these streams with ready-made talking points and pretends he's watching these things for the first time, proving that he was afraid of showing his audience my rebuttal video.
So let me pull this up. Listen to it.
Brings us back to Zach's tweet.
Right.
Yes, this claim is racist because it was made by
racist. There we go. No, he's not. No, he's not saying you're racist. He's saying everything you're saying is racist and made a video about it. Right, of course.
Video where I spent the length of a short film.
What is the W got there? You exactly showed the thing he accused me of. Wow. Like he said, he claims what you said is racist, and then that's what he did with this Google's AI summarizing video.
My fist
Well, where is the W? I didn't see any W there for you to make that
up
face.
your ass is the one you ran away from.
It's too long.
We heard you the first time, coward. You don't need to pause every other second to reassure us, you insecure bitch. If you think your audience is so brain dead they can't sit through more than a couple of seconds of someone else talking, perhaps you should stop contributing to that and train them better. Red means shut the fuck up, I'm still talking.
What is this?
Green means
is this from his other video?
It's your turn to speak. You seem to have difficulty understanding when someone hasn't finished making a point. Okay. So I have to get elementary on your ass.
So he made this.
You are low.
So he made this video for me.
Who else would I be making the video for? I'm using second-person pronouns, dipshit. Unlike you, I'm not afraid to directly address the person I have a problem with, and I don't have to send my audience to go do my dirty work.
Well, that's nice.
IQ, after all.
Okay.
Anyway, a few days ago, Zachariah here posted this tweet in response to Joe Bartolozzi refuting the claim that black people are more likely to commit crimes than white people.
Right.
Let's have a listen. Often resort to property and violent crime. A 2021 study published in the NLM found that more...
By the way, all of this is true.
Yeah,
it doesn't refute my argument at all. This does not refute my argument in any capacity.
We know it's all true because I said it. You see, Asmongold, you've come up against a person that tirelessly does the actual research, puts that research on the screen, and places the link to that research in the description of the videos so that anyone can fact-check those claims. Unlike you, I know what I'm talking about and have the entirety of scientific discovery backing up the claims that I make. You're just some guy that talks into a cheap microphone at an audience that can barely comprehend anything more complicated than a Harry Potter book. This part of the video isn't me refuting your argument. It's me cleaning up the argument Joe made and providing evidence that his claim is true, which you just agreed to, by the way.
By the way, all of this is true?
Try to keep up, hillbilly. You're demonstrating a lower IQ than those Somali people you were talking about.
But yes, obviously people that are poor commit more crime. Yeah, duh.
Interestingly, the study also found that the more equal the distribution of resources, the higher the trust
equilibrium,
that increasing punishment severity.
Trust equilibrium is...
Dude, this guy contradicts like every 2 seconds of his own video. That's very interesting to look at. You know, he said black people are more susceptible to doing crime stuff, right? But immediately he says poverty is one of the reasons. And it's common, right? But if you specifically mention a certain group of people, that is racist.
It's also established by having a homogenous society that's not multiracial or multi-ethnic. There's also another factor for that. So if you think that's the only by having homogenous
and that increasing punishment severity.
Trust equilibrium is also established by having a homogenous society that's not multiracial or multi-ethnic. There's also another factor for that. So if you think that's the only vector that you should use, you would also be advocating for that too.
Guess what, Zach? We have a study for that. Here's a study by Sturgis et al. That specifically addresses this very concern. In that study, they found that there is no effect of ethnic diversity on generalized trust, and that the effect on strategic trust is trivial and dwarfed by the effects of economic deprivation. In other words, you're wrong. But what else is new? You're also forgetting places like Singapore, which is arguably more culturally diverse than the United States, yet is richer per capita, dramatically safer, and ranks higher than the U.S. on multiple quality of life metrics. Almost like racial homogeneity creates trust is an incredibly reductive explanation for social stability, and that functioning institutions, economic opportunity, and social cohesion.
It's not because I wouldn't even argue that Singapore had a capable leader. Like in League One, I think. In Singapore, he was one of the greatest leaders that uplifted that maze. You know? Like, yes, he dedicating his whole life.
Matter a hell of a lot more.
It doesn't matter how many ethnic groups you have in that country. I think Singapore is a country or city. Which one? But yo, legend, hello. Only drawn Asmongold too. You just watch the description of a sun dodging cockroach. Yes, you did watch that. Both country and city, how we doing? Hello. Both country and city. Okay, there we go. Yeah, they had a great leader over there. Not a freaking carbon getter, but like Donald Trump
is not effective at this goal. And
dude, the only reason Donald Trump won because Kamala Harris was a woman. Straight up, that's the reason. Like that guy is a guy. That's why you won. He's a white guy. He could go even further. Singapore country captain is also Singapore. Okay,
that particular piece of information relates to our pal Pigpen here, where he has routinely argued for more severe punishment.
Yes.
Looks like the science disagrees with him. Surprise, surprise.
Science. This is, by the way, this is not science. Sociology and everything about this is not science. It is Karen consensus. That's all there is.
I actually kind of agree with Zach here. Sociology isn't a hard science, and this is what he meant to say. Hard sciences like geology, biology, and chemistry measure things that are objectively true no matter the context. Soft sciences like sociology are types of science that measure things that are more often subjectively true, because we are dealing with humanity and its various cultures, things that can change depending on the
I think you guys have to realize the fundamental problem. They already demonized Indians and then with the H-1B visa, right? And then they cultivated hate towards them, yeah? At the same time, these people, what they do is the first they will call anyone they don't like is like a lower IQ or lower intelligence, and then anything to demonize them or dehumanize them. And then they will normalize the violence against them. I would say the primary example for this is Donald Trump called these illegal immigrants, right? Illegal immigrants, illegal aliens. You know, first it's just a textbook version of dehumanize and then explore. So he did call them illegal aliens, which is kind of dehumanizing as shit. And then he put eyes, and then anything that eyes did, retards like Asmongold would look in Twitter or Twitch, and then he will celebrate them for the harmful violence that is happening against them by the government. You know, usually this is how it goes. And then Now they are aiming at the black people. Black people, Somalia people, you know? This is a major problem. Like this right-wing culture that's been going on here.
And even time. Where we diverge is that this
Not only, here's the thing. Not only you are making enemy of every other race in the world, you are actively isolating yourself, which it makes you easy and target. Like you can get rid of all the immigrants or black people from your country. So it's very easier to just, wipe me off the map. Do it. Would be a better, easier target. Let's go.
Literally about sociology's specific field of study, humanity. Nearly every study you can produce about human behavior is sociology. Asmongold himself is using sociological concepts when he refers to things like race, a social construct. Hell, the discussion of crime stats itself is a form of sociology. Just because sociology isn't a hard science doesn't mean it's not useful, especially in the context of human beings. Otherwise, you're left trying to explain things like
Trump
crime
is really
primarily
shit show.
through
Is
biology
anything?
or racial essentialism.
They should be
rather
once
than
the new
material
because they're
conditions,
practically the
poverty,
immigrants. They
education,
take
and
historically the
opportunity.
context.
And
True.
that's what gets you called racist on the internet.
Like, the sheer concept of America belongs to the white people is fucking ridiculous. It's a freaking joke. What?
Internet, Zach, because that is not supported by any form of science. It's just you talking out of your ass to sycophants that clap like seals anytime you open your rotting mouth. And that's what makes you a grifter, because you tell racist people what they want.
Like, he doesn't do any research. He just vibe comments everything. Like, sometimes he talks about video games, right? I noticed this pattern even before. He doesn't put the effort to play the fucky thing. He just yaps all he wants about it. He talks about it, he doesn't play it. These kind of evil shit you can do in a video game, but the second you come into the real world and then spreading hate like this and being a human, you a piece of shit, people will hold you responsible for what you're doing. Me included. That's why I hate this
So they
bitch.
continue to enrich you. I tell you people what you need to hear.
Thanks, Green. Yeah, this video is very obnoxious, but that's fine.
Cry about it, bitch. Your entire existence is obnoxious, but we're still inundated with your
Well.
bullshit anyway. Fuck you.
No. And then actively you are freaking radicalizing your audience base. You are doing a disservice to your audience.
Anyway,
What's that guy? Asmongold is a problem.
similar findings have appeared in studies examining crime in Mexico, Indonesia, Canada, and across the European Union, like this one here, where it's shown that people who are at risk of poverty report experiencing higher crime in their local area. So you see, this pattern is global and not unique to any ethnic group. Poor community.
It isn't unique to any ethnic group, but different ethnic groups and different age brackets and genders commit crime at much different rates.
This guy is hearing and watching me prove him wrong, agreeing with what I said, and then immediately contradicting himself. No, Zach, ethnic groups do not commit crime at different rates when you correct for the very factors that you just agreed to correct for, you idiot. The only outlier on your list is gender. Yes, men commit far more crime than women do, but that's not what this discussion is about, and you only said that to fill out your otherwise incredibly thin and evidence-less soliloquy. We are talking specifically about ethnicity, and I just proved, with evidence on the fucking screen behind you, numbnuts, that people do not commit crime at different rates when corrected for the factors that lead to crime in the first place. You are starting at the outcome instead of the cause, dumbass. We are talking about the cause. But more than that, you have no evidence for the claims you're making. You just talk and expect people to take you at your word. I showed you mine.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy is a World of Warcraft player. He has no college degree whatsoever, but he loves to talk about this kind of stuff. I don't know how people take this guy seriously. He is just his talking points are as valid as a homeless guy off the streets.
Where are your...
I don't know how people take this guy's word seriously. It makes no sense. I have seen some Indian origin immigrant children talking shit like immigrants should be sent back. And you are a freaking coconut. I can get this guy's channel name. Oh, his name is Birdman. Birdman? The Birdman. It's a great video. He's been fighting, I guess, this for a while. Like, milk all Asmongold's what? Like, keep making these videos. It's going pretty popular for his channel. Keep making this. I will watch it.
Your statistics? Where are your studies? Where's your evidence? You're on the internet. There is nothing stopping you from using Google and proving what you're saying to your...
That's the thing too. To disprove this guy's claims, you just have to Google search it. It's a single Google search away from to dismantling whatever this guy is saying. Like Asmongold.
audience. The problem is, if you did that, your Google search would...
Corner PNG, if I heard the name. Th3Birdman. Look at that. I'll link it in the comment section as well.
prove you wrong in real time. And as we all know, just like the reason you don't stream difficult games anymore,
The bleak end of Asmongold to stop playing games on stream. It hasn't been good years with Asmongold playing a World of Warcraft and another variety of games. Now Asmongold is a more particular streamer. Nowadays, he is frustrated with how bad he is at playing video games and complains about it every time. How he is excited for a game but unable to play them. The balding old man will soon not be able to play video games, especially action combat, like ones from Shopper games, World of Warcraft. No, I think he never was good at any video games at all. I seen some of his FPS games, FPS gameplay. He was pretty decent at that. RDC is pretty decent at faking it. But Dark Souls game, I think his right finger got crooked or something. Like this, he doesn't have good motor functions to be capable of in a video game. That's why he played World of Warcraft. You don't really need motor skills to play that game, dude. Papa, why do you think he played World of Warcraft
you're
about that
definitely
long?
afraid of looking incompetent in real time. An insecure coward, in other words.
So
It's a
in
good
order
color.
to determine whether somebody is going to commit crime,
Not to mention, it's very popular though. He saw, this is what happened. This is like a spineless cockroach saw Hassan getting very popular. And he looked at what he was doing. And then he just painted himself like as this counter energy, like the opposite energy of Hassan. Hassan is a good looking dude. He talks about how he wants to uplift the normal working class people. And then this guy is just a disgusting white guy that lives in a garbage house. He's just a polar opposite of what Hassan stands for. So he can milk the people who hate Hassan. That's pretty much it. Like that's all he does. This person is just he's just a cloud chaser. Like that's how I can describe this guy. He doesn't have any values. He doesn't have any, motivation to stand for his values. He just talks about it all the time in the stream. But he doesn't have the commitment to put put money where his mouth is. He's just a slime ball. I noticed this pattern during it. Like from the COVID, I think his this grift he is doing. Like I've been a fan of this guy for years. I've been watching this guy and he's totally devoured into this.
crimes or not, or what the probability of them doing that or not, the way that you do that is through a multifaceted approach. There's not only one factor that goes into committing crimes. If there was, and that was the only factor that mattered, then you would see
complain about a
poverty
game
that would
just
have
because
a
I suck?
one-to-one correlation between every single other instance of
I mean, you don't have to be really good in a game to complain about it. Yeah. You have to be good at finding out the game's flaws and learn to compare them.
these different demographics committing crimes.
Like, I will give you a good example. You don't have to be a master chef to figure out the salt in the food is too high.
But that's not the case. And the reason that's not the case is because it's not true.
And would you like to share those other factors with the class, Zach? Or will you just be saying words like all other charlatans on the internet? I mean, disregarding the fact that this entire video is me providing multiple factors for crime, it should be trivial to back up the things you're saying. But somehow providing evidence for the claims you make is something you just can't seem to do. Flat earthers also just say the earth is flat, but they have yet to provide photographic evidence of that being the case. So, like them, we can safely disregard the claims you make until
Me hard to play stuff, but yeah, I don't need to be good to review a game and stuff. Control.
you provide evidence. And no, Zachariah, talking is not evidence.
Like, then look at his face, lol. Even he thinks that these mechanics are busted, but he can't say it. He's just a slave to the machine. Like, if he says his, say, like he don't just fold it in Elden Ring. Like Elden Ring, where Mesmer fight just broke him completely. You know? But if he says that fight is too hard, he did say it, and then his fan base just turned against him. So he will never say the things he wants to say. He will say the things that his audience wants to
Just
hear.
saying,
That's what a grifter is.
everyone knows it's true is not evidence. Produce empirical evidence or stop making claims you cannot substantiate. The same socioeconomic mechanisms observed in poor Black American neighborhoods are observed worldwide amongst people of entirely different ethnicities and cultures. Even the white supremacist's favorite non-white country, Japan, experiences higher crime rates when poverty and unemployment rates rise, as shown in this study. Moving slightly west, South Korea is experiencing what they call a silver crime wave, where the
It's actually crazy that somebody can be this stupid.
Agreed.
It's really crazy that somebody can think that poverty is the only defining variable that has to do at all with crime.
Okay, what else? Let's go. What else? You got any examples? Or what else are the other factors that are responsible for crime?
It's unbelievable. It's genuine. It's genuinely impressive.
Does anyone else notice a distinct lack of me saying poverty is the only variable in crime? I'm almost certain Zach just listened to me.
Okay, you said he is stupid, and then he said his poverty is not the only thing. And what are the other ways? Come up with something, dude. He doesn't say anything about that.
Socioeconomic mechanisms in poor Black American neighborhoods are observed worldwide amongst people of entirely different ethnicities and cultures. I guess when he heard me say mechanisms with an S, his sperm cell-sized brain overheated. But then it's also strange that immediately after I said that, I put a study concerning Japan on the screen where it clearly states that unemployment is also a causal link to crime. You see, what Zach just tried to do here is called a straw man argument. My argument was far too difficult for him to refute, so he has to change the parameters to something I did not say and attempt to force me to argue against it. Nuh-uh. This guy's like a not say and attempt.
Yeah, this is the most cognitive function of these right-wing people right here. We should eat less beef. Raising cows require huge amounts of water and land, and emits a lot of carbon. So you want to force everyone to be a vegetarian. This person right here, this statement itself, is nothing to do with this statement. It's just there to be opposing. That's all this is. There is no meaning behind this whatsoever. This is the straw-man argument. This is a good one.
To force me to argue against it.
Like, your actual argument should be, what do you think we can do to fix this issue, you know?
Parameters to some.
But these pathetic people, these uneducated people, most people in right-wing are uneducated as shit, they just willfully want to be stupid. And then all they do is just
I
this.
did not say and attempt to force me to argue against it. Nuh-uh. This guy's like a 2D drawing attempting to hide something from a 3-dimensional being.
Wealthy people don't get caught. Well, wealthy people, so this is the reality. The poorer you are, the higher the probability is that you will commit crime. However, there are also different genetic variabilities. There are other cultural variabilities. There is gender as well. Here, if income is the main predictor on whether people would commit crime or not, who do you guys think commits more crime? Rich men or poor women? And by the way, poor women? Well, do you want to look it up?
So, Zach continues on with his straw man argument here, asking,
Rich man, poor woman, both of you. But what scale? Jeffrey Epstein has had literally a sex island of the trafficking humans. That guy is a rich dude. And your friend Tecton is a rapist. Which you freaking, what do you got it? Supported. What is this guy yapping about? He was openly being racist towards black people, but once he got called out, he's trying to beat around the bush and then being a pussy about it. If you're racist, just be a racist. It's not a big deal. People just call you racist and then move on. Stop being a pussy and then beat around the bush, because he knows if he says it outright, whether he believes it or not, that's why we call him a coward and a spineless cockroach. He'll get banned in Twitch instantly.
Grok, the
And I think he did got banned for this.
dumbest question you could possibly ask in this context: who commits more crime in the U.S.? Poor women,
Like
or
about
rich
right
men?
actor, he doesn't care. I mean, he sure as hell care about the black people to the point, he's making these amount of claims.
As I stated earlier, men commit more crime than women.
Like, here's the thing. You can immediately notice the people who are dishonest or arguing in a bad faith. The second they try to put other people's down, The second they address other people as lesser, or they try to put the other people down, through statistics or to any means, you will immediately recognize that person who is making that claim have a bad faith, and he is basically a Nazi.
Women do, so his question is flawed and assumes I don't agree that gender impacts crime statistics, since poverty is one of the mechanisms that
This is not a thing that's been happening only in America. India did this too with the Hinduism. BJP did this with the Hinduism completely. Modi got his chair in the politics just because he said he's going to get rid of a masjid, what do you got it? The Muslim worship station in what is that place?
actually correlates with crime. The question he should have asked was, who commits more crime in the U.S.? Poor men or rich men? I've even taken the liberty of using the exact same source Asmongold uses, Grok. And lo and behold, his own.
Yeah, he basically ran the politics with that thing. Poor man commit far more crime than he was than rich man based on aroused conviction, incarnation, and self-report data. Poor man commit more crime in the US because rich man doesn't have the need to commit crime. It's a simple logic. It's a third-grade logic, dude. Besides, they have the power to not get caught and then influence the politics in their own way. The religious politics is so shitty, true. That's why the BJP is never gonna come to Tamil Nadu. Never.
The source says poor men commit far more crime in the U.S. than rich men. It's almost like when you ask a relevant question.
Poor man cancer. This is very common. People commit crime for their own survival. Some nut jobs will do it for the kicks. But it's very rare.
Asmongold easily gets debunked.
And I can do it with race too. Which group commits more crime? Poor Asian, poor Black African Americans. In the U.S. Oh, sorry. Let me go. Or sorry, rich. Let me look this up. Or rich.
Let me ask that same question in Gemini. Let's see what Gemini says. Which group commits more crime? For Asians or African Americans? African Americans are doing more crime. What is the population? So look at this logic. So you see black people are committing more crime because there are more black people in USA compared to Asian people. This is the surface level argument people try to do. But as soon as you talk about numbers, look at this. So if you have more population, like right here, compared to Asians, of course there will be more registered crime, right, against black people. No shit. You guys get it, right? The issue with this approach, we cannot count for unreported crimes. There can be a huge imbalance. True, there are so many times it became unreported, and rich people usually most cases don't get caught. How do you think they got rich in the first place? not by being a good Samaritan, that's for sure. I agree with this.
Excuse me. Here we go. If it was only income, you wouldn't have this.
So that was
There we go. If it was
There is another reason for black people doing more crimes too. Black people are physically stronger than Asian people too. Asian people are like 4 or 5 feet tall, and then they are pretty lean in most cases. And black people are pretty bunny, dude. That's one of the reasons for them to do it, because it's easier for them to do it in the first place. As they are physically stronger.
only income, you wouldn't have this.
so
Okay, how do you fix this? So, okay, you talk a big game, right? So you fix this by doing what? Be right back, okay. See you debate, by Israel. Okay, so black people are making more crimes, okay. How do you fix this? You got anything to say about that? Are you gonna fix that, or are you gonna deport black people too? It's really interesting. You can talk a big game with your mouth running for like 8 hours straight. Talking how black people are like doing so much crime. What are you gonna do about it? You got any ideas? Got any plan? Aside from being a racist bitch?
There we go. If it was only income, you wouldn't have this.
So that was a struggle, but he finally managed to get through it. And I'd like to remind the audience that this is why I will sometimes use an AI chatbot to dispel the things these people say, because it's clearly a source that they will accept. Now, I know some of them are disingenuous and will try to discount these chatbots when it disagrees with them, but again, that only further demonstrates why they are grifters and not people to be trusted. Anyway, the question isn't who has done something, the question is why have they done it? Notice what just happened here. In my video, which we all know he has pre-watched,
What is the goal? Like, yeah. Let's say it is a fact. Let's say black people are committing more crimes and in the USA because they are poor or whatever the reasons it is. What is your goal for saying that? What are you trying to get across? What is your intention? You are saying this is a problem, so we have to do something to uplift their society or something? Or are you saying this because you want to demonize them? Which one? Pick a lane. Let's go. Like, what is your goal? What is your intention for painting black people or Indian people or any group of people in this manner? What are you trying to accomplish here?
I explained that
I think more people later start to ask
crime
these
is
questions.
influenced by a web of factors like generational poverty, segregation, over-policing, education disparity, and social conditions. And Zach's response was to ask an AI chatbot for a racialized crime comparison between two arbitrarily selected groups. For example, what are Asians? Is he referring to East Asians like the Japanese and the Mongolians? Southeast Asians like the Thai and the Vietnamese? South Asians like Indians and Afghanis?
Yeah, true. You could technically put Indians as Asians too, because they are an Asian subcontinent.
And even if that stat is true, it still would not prove what Zach clearly wants the audience to infer from it, that black people are inherently more criminal than
Yeah, this is the statement he made. What is the intention of this? What are you trying to get across?
other groups. If I tell you one group has a higher outcome than another group, that does not magically prove the cause is biological. You still have to explain the mechanism producing the disparity. But Zach skips all of that and jumps straight from different outcomes exist to implying ethnicity itself is the explanation. He is once again starting at the outcome instead of the conditions producing that outcome. I've spoken about this before, that white supremacists on the
I mean, he has a bad faith. Like, he intentionally wants to demonize these people, and then he is working backwards. He made his decision. You know? I think whether he not thinks it or not, I think he believes that black people are a problem in his society, and he is trying to discredit them in every way possible. That's his intention. That's how it comes across. It doesn't seem like he wants anything better for them. It doesn't look like it. Especially this is a major problem When it comes from a white guy too. You get it? You get the
Internet
problem?
stupidly argue that personal wealth solves societal issues. This is why we have guys like Nerdrotic trying to argue that Michael B. Jordan should be fine with someone calling him the N-word because he's rich and has sex with women.
And anybody feeling sorry for millionaire Michael B. Jordan, who's out there slaying pussy left and right in his 50 cars because he's been successful and good for you? Don't. Okay, he's fine.
Those two things have nothing to do with each other and completely ignores that, yes, wealthy black people are still subject to societal issues, chief among them, over-policing. A rich black man is far more likely to be pulled over in a Ferrari than a white man is. A rich black man gets the police called on him for trying to take money out of his bank account. A wealthy black man got arrested for trying to enter his own home after the police were called because a witness thought he was trying to break into his own house. As for Grok's answer, the source it uses to answer Asmongold's question is City Journal, specifically this article where they do exactly what I said these groups do in my last video, attempt to weaponize Asians and Asian Americans against black people. City Journal is a conservative website published by the Manhattan Institute for Policy.
Dude, this is such a playbook way of divide and conquer, though. Like, paint other people as the enemies for your state, and then let the people fight amongst each other, hating on each other, and never get united. And then let's just get away with the things that are profitable for us. Because it kind of worked all that, Let me show you how it worked. I think S&P 500 is a good idea, right? Oh my god, why the fuck is not showing me a graph? Damn it. Look at this. This is not a graph of how the normal life of your people is going. This is not a graph of your living standard. This is just a cope. Normal people do not get benefited from this. And look at the people. Nvidia, Google, Amazon, Meta, where is that, AMD?
Research.
So they just make you fight amongst each other. Like you fight within yourself, while they will get away with the shady shit they plan to do.
The very same institution that Charles Murray belonged to. Murray is famously one of the authors of The Bell Curve, the many times debunked book that argues for racial disparities in IQ. Doesn't that sound familiar? Anyway, it's clear those publications have an anti-black bias, and the piece in City Journal that Grok is citing here is not a peer-reviewed paper and is published as an op-ed. And since Asmongold didn't show us the other sources Grok used, electing to simply accept Grok's answer, I asked Grok the exact same question and assessed the sources myself. It gave three main sources for its claims: the same City Journal article Asmon showed, a 2016 study where they examined incarceration, and that'll be important in a bit, and a 2021 study conducted by Dylan Small of the Wharton School. Since we've already covered the biased City Journal article, and remember, it's just an article, not a peer-reviewed study published in a scientific journal, I'll focus on the other two sources as they are actual studies. In the first study, the researchers sought to examine the likelihood of incarceration of young people as it intersects with wealth, finding that this likelihood was higher for black cohorts. However, they notate that a limitation of this study is that since they don't know the nature of the crimes committed, the wealth accumulation could have been a result of criminal activity. This means this study isn't relevant to what we are talking about because we aren't talking about people who were criminals and became affluent through criminal activity, which by itself disqualifies this study as a source for Asmongold's claim. Further, incarceration does not mean one has committed a crime, as our favorite chatbot has so generously decided to answer for us. So Grok's sources are 0 for 2. In the Wharton study, the researchers' conclusions are nearly the opposite of Grok's claim, that black individuals of the same socioeconomic status as white people in Philadelphia were...
Have to consider that AI can be manipulated. Like you can program it to show you the specific narrative you want to push, just like the people. And they're pretty sure Elon Musk is a pretty right-wing guy, isn't he? So if you use Grok, it will probably push right-wing narratives to you.
At a higher risk of being shot, not that they are statistically more likely to commit crime. This is not an answer to the question Asmongold asked. This is why you do the actual research, you goofy bastard.
So this is, I don't know how a person can be this stupid. I really don't. It's sad.
Eyes of poverty and its aging
He never said that. He did say that.
So there is hope for Asmon's audience after all. Perhaps I treated you too harshly, daughter. Someone in his chat correctly pointed out that Asmon is lying to his audience, attributing claims to me that I did not make, and he immediately shut that person down and continued lying. Gangsta Yosh, you are noticed.
He's implying that the reason why there's a difference between crime is because of socioeconomic status. And even when you control for socioeconomic status, there is a dramatic variance in crime based off of ethnicities.
And as we just proved, he doesn't actually have a source supporting this claim.
It is a defined fact that is statistically represented.
But the broader statistical relationship between resource deprivation and crime appears repeatedly across continents and populations. This is why many scholars argue.
Usually these people also try to gacha you and then be smug about it. That's what Asmongold is trying to do. He doesn't give you proper explanation what he is trying to do like gacha. You notice the pattern.
Racial disparities in crime are better understood through the lens of concentrated poverty, inequality, historical segregation, and access to opportunity, rather than race itself.
The funny thing about this is that...
Oh, allow me, Zach. The funny thing about this is that you just heard me say that poverty isn't exclusively the reason communities engage in crime, listing off multiple different factors, and you had no response to that. The whole beginning of your video has been you arguing against a position I don't even hold, something Gangsta Yosh tried to tell your moronic ass. Hell, Big Cat here also tried to warn you that your usage of grok would backfire on you, and you still put out this video anyway. Oh, if I could only see the look on your face when you pre-watch this video and decide not to respond to it.
Black people are the only group of people that's ever been discriminated against in America. That's it. No other group of people has ever been discriminated against in America at all. This is a surprise. I didn't know this.
If you spent as much time brushing your teeth as you did erecting straw men, you wouldn't look like a $16 truck stop prostitute when you smiled, Zach.
How many teeth did you lose? I have a single-digit number of actual real teeth left. What's the trigger black guy? Yeah, I don't know. I think this is an AI voice, so I'm not even sure if this guy's black in the first place, but who knows?
Let's cut the shit, Zach.
You black guy is black, you fucking imbecile. You'd be the life slaves on his channel. Jesus.
Is older than yours. I was the #1 ranked Blanca player in the world back when you were doing your first World at Warcraft raid and still had a tangible hairline. I have videos older than your entire YouTube channel. I can't possibly have been an AI before AI existed, dumbass. You stole this weak AI voiceover idea from your dumbass fans who were so thoroughly impressed by my melodious voice. Their only recourse was to cope.
The comments, man, they just, I love the chat right now. Blanca deserves more respect. Motherfucker, do you know who I am? You're looking at the #1 Blanca player on PlayStation in the world. Me. Look up the rankings for Street Fighter 4. Me. Now, currently, it says #2. Let's look that up real fast. I want to show y'all something. All right, so here you go. In the rankings,
Flex.
If I go to Blanca, skip past him. Would you look at that? Look who is at the top. Now, you'll see that this Japanese guy
he is second.
is in first place, and I'm in second place. This is the world, by the way. So you can see it's not just American flags, it's all flags. This guy that's in #1 boosted to get past me. So this is not a real ranking. I'm actually #1
I mean,
in the
still,
world,
it's
and
pretty
I have
impressive,
been
though.
#1 in the world for like 7
like
straight years. You can actually find people uploading videos of me on YouTube because they beat me. And obviously they're not going to upload me beating them. So it's a big deal when you beat the #1 guy. I am a Street Fighter player. My main is Blanca. My main character is Blanca, and I play with Blanca. I've been playing with Blanca since like 1992. That's why. My
Jesus, this guy is a gamer. Let's go.
Player. This is what I was known for. I was a part of a fighting game clan for the longest. I was our resident Blanca player, And
I
you know, when I had started uploading videos on YouTube, I didn't have an avatar. So I was
dude,
like,
this guy just
hey, I'm a Blanca
flexes
player.
over
And just,
Asmongold in every way
use
possible,
Blanca's
even in
visage.
gaming.
And that's why Blanca
This
is
is
my avatar.
sad.
So
This
for
is
you to
sad
sit
for
here
the
and suggest
sun-dodging cockroach.
that Blanca deserves more respect. Well, you're looking at the respect, motherfucker. I am Blanca, nigga. I am the guy. That's me. Anybody want to see me in this game? Step up.
The reason black people are associated with crime in the United States is because black Americans have historically faced disproportionate levels of concentrated poverty, segregation, underinvestment, and systemic exclusion from economic opportunity.
None of that stuff makes you steal makeup from a CVS. None of that makes you commit.
Is the gacha right there? That is the gacha. See? That is the gacha right there. These people do this, dude. They do this in an everyday passive. What are you gonna? Everyday basis. Be right back. I wanna go get my dinner. I thought we can continue this trainwreck alpha video. Oh, that's why the people are stealing makeup from the shop. Haha, gotcha. You know, so pathetic. Argue against it, you little bitch. Instead of doing a gotcha, I just got back.
Murder. None of that makes you go out and violently rob people. The idea that this is somehow okay or acceptable or anything else, this is also immediately disproven whenever you control for socioeconomic factors. Immediately this is disproven. No, it's not because of that.
Would you like to commit to a thought and finish it? What's with the random switch of topics? One thing at a time. No one has said these socioeconomic factors make any individual do anything. What was said was that those factors contribute to conditions that lead people into crime. And again, you're dog whistling here. Are you suggesting that black people are the only people that steal from CVS, rob people, and commit murder? No, they're not, right? Okay then, so your argument then has to switch to something like per capita or they are more likely to. And now we're back at square one. You are not explaining the why, Asmongold. You are describing an is. The sky is blue. Notice that's not explaining why the sky is blue. This is the question scientists are answering with the studies I have provided. The why.
This is also immediately disproven whenever you control for socioeconomic factors. Immediately this is disproven. No, it's not because of that.
Notice how Zach hasn't provided a source for this claim? Yeah, I noticed that too. And it's as I said, Google is a few clicks away. I mean, he already gave us something from Grok. Why won't he do this for all of his claims? He's engaged in a fight with a guy whose weapons are sources, and he came with hobo breath.
And also, this wasn't even what I said, by the way. None of this even had anything to do with it, period.
It's almost like I'm still providing evidence for Joe Bartolozzi's claim or something. We can barely get through it because you keep pausing, even with the indicator to stop pausing. You think I'm putting your goofy ass face on the screen for fun? You've forgotten what I'm even talking about because you have low impulse control and the inability to shut up for more than 15 seconds. Conditions that criminologists and sociologists have repeatedly linked to higher crime rates across every population on Earth, regardless of ethnicity.
Of course.
Once Black American slaves were freed, they immediately faced
Whoa, wait a minute. We're talking about freed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got rid of slavery.
See what I mean? This man lacks the ability to shut up and listen to what someone is saying. If you would let the video continue to play, you'd see that I'm referring to two things. The immediate aftermath of Juneteenth, a period of time where, yes, there were still slaves, mainly because a lot of slaves simply did not know they were free and their slave masters weren't going to tell them, and a metaphorical free, where to this day, institutions are set up specifically to entrap Black people to force them into the for-profit prison system. Sounds like freedom to me.
So this has always been my outlook about it, is that there have been a lot of groups inside of America that have been oppressed, that have been denied opportunities, or having other things that are like that. Anytime that you're advocating for an advantage for one group of person versus another group, fundamentally what you're doing is you are trying to institutionalize racism. You are trying to implement and enact racism.
So what Zach just communicated here is the oft-repeated white supremacist talking point that equality is a zero-sum game, that reducing discrimination against one group must somehow come at the expense of another, as though fairness itself is theft. But that worldview only makes sense if you see social progress as a hierarchy, where one group must remain beneath another for society to function properly. Capitalism. In reality, expanding access to education, housing, employment, and civil rights does not take away from anyone else. It simply means more people get treated like full human beings under that system. The fact that some people interpret equality as oppression says far more about how accustomed they are to unequal treatment than it does about the people asking to be treated fairly.
And the reality is that the people that are poor, that are white, probably has less advantages than somebody who's rich, who's black. So I do agree that people should get, help, but it shouldn't be done on a racial basis. It should be done on a means basis, on an income basis. That's obviously what should happen. But yes, the quote, freed the slaves. Yeah, they actually did free the slaves. Oh my God.
We face discrimination,
Yes.
a lack of economic opportunities,
Yes.
exclusion from wealth-building
We
institutions.
fixed all of these, by the way. We fixed all of these.
We literally have not. The very image you have paused on the screen is referring to the denial of bank loans to black people. This is still happening today. In a 2022 analysis conducted by Che and Mattingly, it was shown that black borrowers are still denied for loans at a higher rate than any other group, at nearly twice the average. It literally did not matter what the purpose of the loan was for. Black people were denied the most in every single category. But we fixed it, right, Asmongold?
We fixed all of these, by the way. We fixed all of these.
The other two things I listed before he paused
He
the
based
video
all
were
of this.
discrimination in hiring and a lack of economic opportunity. According to a 2021 study, people with black-sounding names had a reduced probability of employer callbacks. We fixed that, though, right, Asmongold?
We fixed all of these, by the way. We fixed all of these.
Segregated housing,
Yes.
unequal education, targeted policing, and widespread racial violence. Each of those things on
Isn't it crazy how a lot of that widespread racial violence kind of just disappeared? I feel like we don't really see a lot of that anymore. We don't. And when we do, it's the other way around.
Is it? Are you sure about that? Is there white American slavery, white lynchings, white race massacres, Jim Crow terrorism against white people, a new red summer, state-enforced
Not to mention
segregation,
now the racism
mob
gotten even
violence that
worse.
is openly celebrated by institutions? Because that's what I'm talking about. The historical reality of widespread racial violence that was organized, systemic, and socially sanctioned attempts to subordinate an entire ethnic group. Because you got your ass beat in a Target by Pookie and Ray Ray for shit-talking in the produce aisle is not what I'm referring to, dumbass. Racial violence against black people was and is organized. Black people aren't putting on ghost costumes and burning wood in your front yard.
This doesn't refute my argument or my position at all.
Black people were subjected to all of them at the same time. The United States created a permanent underclass in the form of black Americans.
It's a permanent underclass? If it's a permanent underclass, then how'd Barack Obama become the president?
What you just said is one of the most
I gotcha. Look at that. Again, I gotcha. See? Fucking
insane,
retarded, dude. This
idiotic
guy is
things I've ever
retarded.
heard. At
See?
no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no
No.
points. And may
Oh, we
God
had
have-
one black guy as our president. The UBI hate him. You guys hate him. Just to look up
mercy on
and do
your
that.
soul.
It is an injustice that this man is able to influence so many young people through the internet. He truly believes that this was a rational response. He didn't laugh. He wasn't pretending. He actually thinks that an individual member of a historically lower class becoming the president means there isn't a permanent underclass. Asmongold is actually unintelligent, people. This is by far the stupidest thing I've heard him say, and he has montages on YouTube, hours worth of stupid comments. What he just did is the equivalent of pointing at a billionaire and saying, well, I guess poverty doesn't exist. Obama becoming the president is significant precisely because of the history of exclusion. And even then, Obama is half white and grew up with white middle-class Americans. Obama didn't see the kinds of generational poverty the majority of black Americans do. Using him is hilariously weak because he's not even close to a representative of a typical black American. And you people still wanted to literally lynch him.
There's plenty of successful black people. What are you talking about?
Still want to lynch him? Seriously? Obama effigy arrest or the incident? Oh my god.
There's plenty of successful black people. What are you talking about?
Per capita. Finally, I get to use this against y'all. Of all the racial groups in America, black Americans are on the lowest socioeconomic rung, per capita. Strangely, you think that anyone is arguing that there are zero wealthy black Americans. And that is because you are stupid.
Hello.
Apparently, I'm the first person to tell you this, Zach. You're dumb. Freeing formerly enslaved people without
many
providing
people call them
meaningful
dumb.
economic restitution, equal protection under the law, or fair access to housing, education, and employment, while simultaneously...
Historically, this is accurate, but current day and in recent history, this hasn't really been true. Like, at least not really in my lifetime. Like, maybe you can point to, like, one example of, like, some racist law in, like, Mississippi or something, but overall, we've gotten rid of a lot of this.
Then it's a good thing I am talking about history, isn't it, Zach? You're still on the section of the video where I'm supporting Joe's argument with relevant data and evidence. You admit what I am saying is true. Good. The next step is recognizing that these factors still majorly affect the conditions of today. If you didn't eat breakfast this morning, you might feel hungry later. Cause and effect. If historically black people were denied access to valuable real estate, then what we should see in the modern day, if what I am saying is accurate, is a significant gap in home ownership. And lo and behold, that is exactly what we see. Cause and effect. How is it possible that you accept that these things happen,
It
but at the
happens
same
throughout the
time
generation,
deny
you
their
know.
residual effects?
If you
How is it
deny
possible to
education
be
on
this
there,
brain-
like if you deny education on the, what do you call it, accessibility to home or laws, people will be remaining poor and then their next generation is not gonna miraculously become richer or anything. You know, they will remain the same or if not
Dead.
worse.
Pop quiz, ass on mold. What do you do when you don't have access to decent education, can't get a job, live in a slum, and can barely feed yourself?
You burn down the CVS, you steal makeup, you shoot each other, and you kill people, right?
Or you can be a racist piece of shit against black people, or Indian people, or anyone that's immigrant or that. That's what you are doing, you imbecile.
That's obviously what this
Not to mention this kind of a problem doesn't affect this son of a bitch at all. I don't know why he even talks about
solution
this.
is. Because that's the only logical...
Only for the reason I can think of is just for the cloud. Like if this doesn't affect him in any way possible. And he's just uncomfortable because he saw a black guy in a shopping mall. That's why he was so mad? Or what's going on here?
thing that a person could do. I mean, it's not like they could get a job. It's not like they could educate them. That's obviously what the solution is. Because that's the only logical thing that a person could do. I mean, it's not like they could get a job. It's not like they could educate themselves. It's not like you could do any of this other stuff. No, I believe that people have agency. They clearly have agency. What are you talking about?
What
Just
agency?
because that you're poor, so it's okay to rob a CVS? What the fuck? This is like the most retarded logic I've ever heard.
I agree.
So yeah, no, being poor isn't an excuse for stealing. Being poor isn't an excuse for killing people. It's not an excuse for being violent. You can't have a world where that is. Like if that was the way the world worked, everything would be chaos.
Statistically,
Dude, that is soon be a day that white people are not jobless, white people are not gonna have any homes, white people are not gonna have any kind of what do you got? Nothing. Like that's already happening to you guys. That's why you're racist in the first place. You know, this guy is gonna say when that
you
happens.
turn to crime. It's not a black thing. It's a human thing.
People don't steal because they want to, they have no other choice. True. People resort to violence as a last resort. Nobody wants to be a hostile. If they do want to be hostile, they're kind of nothing
Notice
the
how through all
head.
that incoherent rambling and shadowboxing that straw man, the moment I say statistically you turn to crime,
In your streets, that means it's a problem. You don't get rid of the people, you gotta get rid of the problem that need the people riot in the streets. He's so retarded. This guy is such a retard, dude. He's a
he had no
dumbass.
response.
Like, he actively is against the rioting. I don't know why. I mean, it's not an inherently good thing, but when people lose all hope, and then they don't have anyone to go to or turn to, or any power they can have, they will riot on the street. That happens all over the world. Instead of fixing that, this guy is demonizing them for it.
Right.
What a fucking
because
asshole.
No one said any of that stuff was okay. What was said was, it happens. And here are the contributing.
I wish these guys got freedom from British people, right? America is not special in any way possible. They also have gotten freedom, you know? If British people said the same thing to these guys, I wonder what their mentality is gonna be. You know, what their reply is gonna be. Why they do it? True. Usually they do it because they don't have good standard of living.
Factors. The thrust of the argument here is that if these factors are corrected, crime becomes.
Like if they have better jobs and if they have safety and privacy, people aren't gonna stand and riot. There won't be any racism. There won't be any problems now. Why do you think the racism gotten way worse these days? Because people's standard of living gotten lower. Fix that instead of demonizing people. It's so annoying, dude.
Reduced, the more equal a society is, the better the trust equilibrium. Somehow, this failed abortion is twisting my argument into, if you're poor, you should commit crime. The fuck? So this is what Joe was trying to communicate, that Black Americans face conditions that overwhelmingly correlate with higher crime rates, and that this is...
You listed one condition. The singular condition of being more poor on average. I think everybody agrees and everybody is on the same page that having less income is going to correlate to being more violent or committing more crimes. I think this is obviously true. Everybody knows that.
Are you agreeing?
Dumbass, oh my god, you dumbass. They are not justifying people rioting in the street. They are saying why they do it. Oh my god. Jesus, think you fucking idiot. They are saying why. They are not justifying it. Are you fucking... This guy is arguing in bad faith. Like, what do you guys think? This guy is saying... This guy's implication is what Asmongold is trying to do. You're saying that the black people are trying to justify the violence and the rioting, right? But these people, like that white guy, other white guy too, and Birdman, is trying to explain why they are doing it. They are not trying to justify it, you fucking idiot.
With me or not? What the fuck was that? And I most definitely listed far more than one condition.
Rich people commit even more crimes, true. That's why they are rich.
Cleaned your ears since the Clinton administration, but
nobody is gonna be rich by being a saint.
Inequality, low educational access, segregation, lack of economic opportunities, over-policing, and poverty. Invest in Q-tips or leaf blower. Due to systemic racism.
Right.
All those factors I just named were racist, and
Yes.
all of them were systemic.
And they are all gone.
Wrong.
That is
We went through and got rid of every single one of those.
absolutely
Wrong.
proved over and over again.
Wrong.
The action
Redlining, or the process of systematically denying minority communities access to mortgages, loans, and investment based on their race, helped trap many Black Americans in impoverished and underdeveloped neighborhoods for generations. That is obviously racist. That is
Really? So that's the well then if you even your own Wikipedia article disproves this. Look at this here. As well as Mexican Americans, Southwestern United States, Jewish Americans, and Italian Americans. If this is a causal factor for this to happen, you would see those same rates happening with those other groups. No.
Other groups are less in population, you fucking imbecile. Do you know how to count or what? That people are significantly in a higher number of population in America compared to the Jews. What are the other people? African Americans, Mexicans, and South Western United States, and Jewish American. You think there are more Jews over there or more black people over there? What a fucking dishonest argument this guy is doing. I'm gonna dismiss because I am poor. She had charge of the crime. Jeez.
That's not the case. You're literally not even reading the articles you're using.
Zach?
You read it,
that
you
article
understand
very
it.
clearly says mostly been directed against African Americans. I'm not sure what part of my video suggests that any other groups haven't been marginalized in the U.S., but this is the second time you're bringing up other groups as if I said they weren't. Quick question. Are Italian Americans currently denied mortgage loans at the rate Black Americans are? Oh, I know. Let's ask Grok.
Numbers guy, Grok it.
Wow, it seems like Italians are in the lowest denial category. You know, being white and all, a category they weren't back when they were being redlined. Wow, times have changed, huh? Well, how about the Jews?
Jews. Yeah, 2 years ago, if you asked me what a Jew is, I don't even know what the hell that is.
Loans at a higher rate than Black Americans. And those of you with the red armbands are going to really love that they're being classified as white here. Now here's a tough one. How about Hispanic Americans?
Hispanic who? Who's that?
I am so shocked at this outcome. I cannot believe that once again, Black people are treated the worst systemically. I did not see that coming. Here is my shocked face.
Irish and Italian started with nothing too, and yet, look at this here. This is Irish and Italian people. Let me go back and pull this up. Oh, wow. Estimated incarceration and commitment rates. So this is it. Between Irish and Italian, there it is. Wow, look at that. Big surprise, huh? Who could have guessed?
Wow, an imager image. What source? Many evidence. You know what's missing from that Microsoft Paint image? The fact that Irish and Italian people are considered white in America. What fucking census in 2000 was collecting data on who was Irish and who was Italian? Because it wasn't this one.
It's crazy how you're using arguments that literally don't even work. Like your own evidence disproves itself. Like he starts the video off and he looks for an AI summary to disprove that he called me racist. And then the AI summary says that he spent the video saying that what I said was racist.
Do you not hear yourself, Zach? You're saying I called you racist by saying that a claim Trump made was a racist claim. How did you escape kindergarten? You should still be there.
Then he's using this, and it says it's not just against people that are Black. This has happened to multiple ethnicities and multiple ethnic groups, but you're talking about one.
Now
Dude. He already have an agenda. Asmongold is just a spineless cockroach. He just already have an agenda that he wants to paint black people as bad people that commit small crime. So he already made up his mind and then working backwards. That's all this is. Nothing you can see or nothing you can prove will make him think otherwise because he believes that. So what you do is you isolate them, or you isolate these white people and then give their MAGA what they want, and then you just wipe them off the map. Like how we did with the Nazis. You just let them be in their own country, and then you just wipe them off the face of the earth.
You're mad that I'm staying on
You know? Pretty simple. That's why I'm more advocating to deporting immigrants now, so you can just easily out-isolate these people.
Remind me, Zach, which ethnic group was Joe talking about that you responded to on Twitter?
Pretty easy.
While you're racking your tiny little brain, I have another question.
Let these white people isolate themselves, and then you just wipe them off the face of the earth. And they got it in justice and celebrate it. You know?
Where in the video did
It's simple.
Say only Black Americans?
Dear. The only safety net for you guys are the other ethnic groups, and if you get rid of them, it's easier for us to get rid of you. No, hi, Demio. Hello,
Americans
welcome,
faced
welcome.
hardship. Can you provide a timestamp? No, seriously, I'd love evidence for the claims that you are making against me.
If this is a causal factor, then you would assume that this causal factor would also affect the crime rates of these other 4 groups. The same with what do you call it? With income.
Okay, let's see. We entertain your argument. Black people are committing more crimes because they are stronger than your ass. Sorry, white ass. Okay. What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it, you little bitch? What are you gonna do about it against black people? Let's go. Do something about it. Come on, do it. Do it so we can kill you in the name of justice. Let's go.
But that's not the case.
Fucking
Redlining
bitch.
did affect those groups negatively, but you're forgetting that Black Americans were here longer than those groups and face systemic issues at a greater magnitude.
Let's go. Blow mask off. Show your true self so we can just justify obliterating your ass.
Italian Americans were recent immigrants from Italy, arriving in America around 1880, 15 years after slavery was abolished.
Dude, who are these pure white Americans anyway? Are they these British people? Like, who are these white, original white people? Who are they? I want to know. Somebody explain it to me. I thought everybody that has a white skin was white, but it looks like they are something or them. You know? That is like a specific group of white people are considered white people, and the rest of them are not. Which is weird.
Ignoring that Italian immigrants formed the prolific American army.
But if you are a British people turns out to be, that means you didn't grow out of your colonization mindset. You know? Okay, that explains a lot, isn't it?
Italian mafia during this time. This 15 were
Let's go a little bit back.
Did affect those.
What do you call it? With income. But that's not the case.
Redlining did affect those groups negatively, but you're forgetting that Black Americans were here longer
You
than
seem
those
clear to
groups
get it started.
and
Okay.
faced systemic
Good luck,
issues
good
at a
luck.
greater magnitude.
Look at your exams.
Italian Americans were recent immigrants from Italy,
It's real,
arriving in
do we?
America around 1880, 15 years after slavery was abolished. Ignoring that Italian immigrants formed the prolific American arm of the Italian mafia during this time, this group was not subjected to centuries of racial chattel slavery followed by Jim Crow apartheid, mass disenfranchisement, segregation, lynching campaigns, exclusion from wealth building, mass disenfranchisement.
This is Ku Klux Klan, right? The
Segregation.
KKK. White and colored. Jeez.
Lynching campaigns,
Yeah, this guy, KKK.
exclusion from wealth building institutions, and targeted urban containment on the scale Black Americans experienced. They were very soon absorbed into whiteness, which allowed them to benefit from the New Deal and subsequently accumulate generational wealth. While there were a few Jews in America in the 17th century, the majority of Jewish immigrants arrived in America from Europe around the same time as Italian immigrants. Again, these people were not subjected to the centuries of abuse Black Americans faced in the United States up to that point. Like most European immigrants arriving in the late 19th century, Jews and other Europeans did not face economic penalties due to their occupation and advanced at the same rate as white Americans. So once again, the evidence is kicking your ass. Yes, it is true that other groups faced hardship in the United States, but no group got it as bad and continues to be marginalized like the Black American. This is a fact. Cope, you dumb
Okay,
bitch.
that's pretty brown
Here,
to me.
Get owned by Grok again, clown. African Americans suffered the worst from redlining. Boom. Headshot by your own source. Long-term outcomes. Redlining contributes to the persistent racial wealth gap. Blam. Gaped by your own source. Comparison to other groups. Latinos. Historical targeting was secondary to Black Americans. Asians. Focus less on them as a primary risk factor compared to Black people. Native Americans. Redlining was less central to their urban experience. Now listen up because this one's important for you. Jews and Italians. Some neighborhoods with immigrants were downgraded, but they assimilated into white categories over time and gained access to suburban loans as Black exclusion intensified.
Well, because they have pretty much the same color of skin. I don't know, man. And most of these atrocities are done by the white people too. It's very interesting. It feels like it kind of feels like the British people that doesn't want to get rid of colonization went to work with America and then established over their own government, isn't it? I need to research about this. Who are these white people that are in America?
Kablam.
I want to know.
Epsteined by your own source.
A lot of was.
Epsteined.
The main way a family in the United States builds wealth is through real estate. If you own a home, you generally
This is
pass
true.
that home down to your children, and
Yes.
since your children are now not required to use the
Baba
majority
India.
of their income for housing,
I'm an
they're
Indian.
able to save, invest, pursue education, start businesses, and accumulate wealth.
Black people don't own homes. Only white people have homes.
I mean,
This-
neither of you
you
do
might not
now.
have known this. This is a surprise.
Black Lord has every home now. You know, maybe you gotta do something about that. So then I'm from South.
This is when you know he's getting owned. Just making up things because he can't bear to allow facts to disrupt his narrative.
Yeah, Irish and Italian Americans didn't have a house either. Yeah, like, what do you, like, this isn't even like, it's such bullshit. Okay, anyway, let's keep going.
Generational wealth. If you routinely deny black families the opportunity to own valuable real estate, you rob them of the opportunity to create generational wealth.
What is the
This is actually a good argument, and I think that really the
I don't
best
know.
way
If
to
you're from
approach
other
this
states, no,
argument
I
and
don't
this
watch it
problem,
goes.
I do think that there's a huge generational wealth gap between
I know you guys
white
love to
and
stereotype
also
it.
black families, and it has been caused
I'm actually
by
Christian.
a degree of like residuals from racism.
Hello.
So he is identifying the problem, and that is correct. But the solution that I have is different than the solution that he has. So the reason why I
What
think
is your solution, Tell me the solution, you little bitch. Let's go. What is your solution?
something like DEI or affirmative action is bad is because it's not actually addressing the problem. It's addressing a corollary, which is the corollary is race, but the problem is actually income. So I'm totally in support of things like, you know, giving people more student aid if they don't have as much money, but it should be done on the basis of means, not on the basis of race.
And when you follow that logic through to its conclusion, it lines up ethnically. Those who have the worst means will statistically be black. You are arguing for those programs and don't realize it. You're attempting to solve a problem that was already being addressed, except you're too allergic to the word race to recognize you just reinvented affirmative action and DEI. This is Obamacare all over again. Conservatives spent years screaming about it like it was some radical communist takeover.
This guy had a OTA, right? I don't see a single black guy over there. We got an Asian chick. Yeah, not a single one. You kind of see this pattern. Look at this. Oh, that is one black guy over here. Who is this guy? I don't see him anymore in this picture though. Not here. He was here, but he is gone. Looks like a white boy. Very interesting, isn't it?
Only for people to later realize large
Black guy or an Indian guy?
parts of it were built on ideas Republicans themselves had already supported. Zach is doing the same thing here, rejecting race-conscious policy on ideological grounds, then accidentally recreating those same systems through class analysis because the material conditions keep pointing him back to the same conclusion, that black people are the lower class. I said that earlier, and this dumbass thought Obama becoming the president refuted that. This shit is like watching a fly trying to fly out of an open door.
And again, the only people that would disagree with this are literal racists, because the goal there isn't to be in any sort of a beneficial position for being white or black. White Americans aren't even a top earner ethnically in the U.S. Yeah, and this is also another factor too, is that, like, I don't know if you guys have seen this as well, but take a look at this. Indian Americans, Filipino Americans, Taiwanese Americans, white Americans are all the way.
Yeah, Americans. By ethnic go. Get fucked. Like Indian people are avoiding you left and right. Maybe you should get proper education and then you can compete. You know, instead of bitching about it. Get owned. White Americans getting owned by Pakistanis. Ayo. How the mighty have fallen. 15 days because Trump wanted to play World War III.
Way down here at $59,000 for median household income.
Deserved. Absolutely deserved. You brought this on yourself. But I have no empathy for you. What did you deserve? What are you going to do about it, Kai?
So are these people that are up at the top committing all of these crimes, or are these people doing that? No, I don't think so.
Another piece of evidence that he pre-watched at least half of my video and isn't doing a genuine reaction with this already ready Reddit post that refutes nothing. I don't know why white supremacists try using Asians to explain away the fact that white Americans hoard the majority of the wealth in this country. Those groups in the screenshot that are above white Americans are typically immigrants or descendants of immigrants from the upper class in their home country and were wealthy enough to immigrate to the United States. They are often disproportionately educated.
Bro, not everybody can now immigrate to America. It costs so much here. Bro, let alone getting a fucking green card. Pakistani Americans, Chinese Americans, Malaysian Americans, Sri Lanka. Getting owned by Sri Lanka is kind of hilarious, to be honest. Zach responded and he was right every single time. Not really. What does this prove?
Financially stable, connected, or upwardly mobile before they even arrive. It's a self-selecting bias. In each one of those countries, the median household income...
Dude, if you guys want to get rid of the immigrants, you should do it. I do it and see what happens. You are not going to get the job. Like, you're still going to be jobless regardless. Because here's my argument against it. You think immigrants, if you get rid of the immigrants or black people away from your country, you will get the jobs, right? They hired them in the first place because they don't want to pay the income you want. Why do you think the companies hired them in the first place? So if you get rid of them, they are not going to hire you and pay the incomes you want. They are going to hire you maybe, if there is a chance for it, unless you got replaced by AI completely, and then they will try to pay you the same pay they paid the immigrants. So yeah, you guys are fucked. But here's the thing. They will all together not gonna hire you and then try to outsource it. That's what they did with the China. America did that with China. So you guys are never gonna win. Like, that is nothing, no incentive for you to gain from any of this. You can get rid of the color of the people, yes. You can see all the whites, but if you see a colored homeless person, you're gonna replace them. They're gonna be white. That's pretty much the difference that's gonna happen to your country. Yeah? Like, if you don't like them, yeah, so let's deport them all. Do it, see what happens. Nothing is going to change.
Is significantly lower.
Like, you could get rid of all these different ethnic groups in America. You guys won't even have an economy after that.
Americans average $100,000 in America, but the median household income in urban India is 200,000 to 500,000 rupees. That's 2 to 5. Urban India is
Animal income 2 lakhs to 5 lakhs. That's actually a pretty good of a sledge. 2 lakhs per year, that means like 20,000 per month. No, I think India is way more than that. Billionaires will never pay for it. Yeah, they hired the immigrants in the first place because they don't want to pay you the value you want to get. You know, Indians are not taking your job over, or people are hiring them because they are cheaper labor. Why do you think they want to pay cheaper labor? Because they don't want the higher income you want them. Like, think for like 2 seconds, then see how bad the system is against you. It's so cringe. Like, they don't have the capacity to... They can never fight against the capitalism, but they will try to do everything against every other people. It's the Indians, it's the black, it's the Jews, it's the transgender people, it's the DEI people, it's Hassan, you know. Hassan is taking over your job. Like, it's so hilarious. Like, this... you can do it. I am not... No, I have no problem you deporting because it doesn't affect me in any way possible. But I'm going to tell you, this will not change your life whatsoever in any meaningful manner. I will bet my life on it. Getting rid of immigrants in the USA is not going to... If not, it will actively harm your country.
200,000 to 500,000 rupees.
Like, you can go... Like, internet got them so good to the point... A guy in India, like, they don't even have to get immigrated. The IT guys will just work from here and then send the data to America. You guys are fucked. Realize. You guys are fucked. I am from India right now, streaming to American platform. You think I can do my job from here? with online classes. So instead of hating on immigrants, you should try to come up with a law that forces these companies, these institutions to hire more of your guys in the first place, and then have a percentage of immigrants. You see? Fight for your rights instead of hating these guys. You're not getting anything out of that. What do you think? That sounds like a good idea, right? Fight for your rights first. No, that is about right. I have workers who were way about 15K to 25K. That's actually pretty young, to be honest. If all are dependent, where will he get food delivery from? True. Like, you guys don't see this. Like, their ultimate goal for these industries is to just automate the shit out of everything and then get rid of all the repeatable work that you guys are doing on them. You know, like, there is no hope in this, no gain in this any way possible. You gotta come up with a law that forces these companies. Like, how many layoffs that happened in the past 5 years? Like, think about this. There is like 1 lakh people that got laid off, but there is no hiring anymore. From Meta, from Amazon, from Google, from X, Twitter, Elon Musk. From every companies, people started to fire people instead of hiring them. So where is the job opportunity? You guys don't have any. It's over. It's gone. You're cooked. So come up with a law that doesn't advocate to AI or automation, so you guys can have some jobs, and then reduce the taxes that you people are paying, not to zero, but to a manageable amount, and then tax the rich. They can take a hit, but you cannot, or the immigrants cannot. They are living paycheck after paycheck just like you. Maybe they are brown, but they are basically you. He wants to pay low paying him, we have. Yeah, they always do. That's how they became a bigger power. They tried to kill off the competition. They tried to pay you as low as possible that they can get away from. Yeah, instead of getting sued, they will be heavily against worker unions because they hated. Can't ask a question the billionaires do. So you guys don't understand any of this, and then you talk a big game about, oh, these people are more terrorists, these people are stealing. That is the problem you have? Like, if black people are stealing makeup from your shopping mall? I don't think that is a problem, really. There are bigger problems over there that's kind of invisible for you. Like, address that. This is a distraction tactic. Oh, it's the black people, it is the Jews, it is the Indian people that are ruining your country. Your country is ruining by the people that are in power. I don't know where these arguments are coming from, these right-wingers, dude. It's just hilarious. Watch our phone. He will give you a better explanation than mine. You could gotcha him and saying he is a billionaire too. At least he has the balls to say it out loud. That's why he is going to the jail.
That's $2,000 to $5,000 a year. This example alone proves a selection bias.
If I get $5,000 a year, I will be content in my life. I'll be content. Like 5 lakhs per year, hell yeah. Give me.
That those who are even able to immigrate to the United States will be highly educated, highly qualified, and statistically far wealthier than the people of the United States alone proves a selection bias. That those who are even able to immigrate to the United States will be highly educated, highly qualified, and statistically far wealthier than the people in their home country.
Highly educated, highly qualified, and highly more wealthier than the people who is in India. No shit, Sherlock. You really think the people are hiring? And they're more hardworking too. They work like a fucking mule. That's why they get hired. Like, especially North Indian people work like a fucking mule. No shit, you guys are getting replaced. And then, even that mule is not enough for them, so they're trying to replace them with a robot. Fucked. We are fucked. Humanity is fucked. Working class is fucked in the next span of 50 years. Like, before we are gonna die of old age, they are gonna replace almost 90% of us. Like, think about that in the first place. It's already happening.
People are starting the race way.
And then you here sit around hating on the other people. Like, what the hell? Bro, I work for 9 to 9 tech job, like an engineering job, bro. Getting cooked. I've done a Sunni very impressive way of fucking robot. I just get back, looking back at that
out in front.
So I have no problem with acknowledging that black people will be more disproportionately affected by programs that help people because of income, but I don't think those programs should be done and decided based off of race. If the problem is that these people were denied generational wealth, then the way that you should solve that problem shouldn't be based off of race, it should be based off of wealth.
That is also a problem based out of wealth. He's right about that. But the people who are in the higher ends are mostly white people, and then they have this incentive, or they like to hire more white people. They don't give the opportunities to, they don't want to hire the black people. That's why this percentage of black people that DEI is in there in the first place. You see, white people like to hire white people. They don't actively go and then go hire white people. Most cases. That is the reason why they want a percentage of black people in every work job there. Why do you think they do that? Because if there is no rule to hire these certain amount of colored people in that position or in that job, all of them will be hiring only the white people, and where black people will be still jobless. You see the problem here? Like, you have to think it in different perspectives on what are the consequences that will happen. You know, I heard away isn't fire time of work. I see.
But that's not what they want to do. It's because they don't care about that. They care about figuring out some sort of racist way. And this is the problem.
There's one day to say you must do whatever you want, but do it somewhere else. It doesn't affect the rest of the world. I am tired of these people. True. I mean, many hotels in India got shut down because of the LPG gas prices, right? They couldn't afford it. Because of the Strait of Hormuz got blocked.
Problem is that this is why I think I trigger a lot of these people, is because I'm one of the only people that actually isn't racist.
Sorry. Please continue, Zach.
I'm one of the only people.
Damn, God would have hated Mr. 15 because of LTV. Seriously? Jesus.
That actually isn't racist.
It affects you in every way possible. Like most of the vegetable prices, goods prices are reliant on oil because the transport in India is mostly through ground, right? So if the price increases, everything's prices will increase. It's an issue with America. The US is most had the diverse roadway system. So everything will be way higher there. I was online for senators had to verbally fight for it for the last month. Jesus, that sounds rough. And then, the reason why this war happened in the first place is that Donald Trump is such a pussy to release the Epstein files. So he wants to divert the people by calling and doing the Iran war that has nothing to do with Americans in the first place. Don't forget the petrol price. Yeah, I just mentioned it. Water from 2.8 to 12. Jeez.
I'm one of the only people that actually isn't racist.
No, you are racist, you bitch. You are racist, you are sexist, you are transphobic, you are pretty much the every other slaughter that American people came up with. You are doing everything just for your plug. You are a spineless cockroach. You don't even stand for what you believe in, you know? This guy is a spineless cockroach.
Because I'm one of the only people that actually isn't racist. I'm looking at this objectively. I say, yes, you're correct that black people have been disproportionately affected by this. Let's try to correct that. Okay, so the problem is that people weren't able to get money. All right, well, a lot of people don't have money. Why don't we make a thing to where people that don't have money are able to get money, and it'll help black people disproportionately? That's the way a logical, reasonable, empathetic person would solve problems. But they don't want to do that because they don't have they don't care about equality. They care about talking shit and being racist.
Talking shit and being racist.
The bot self-report.
The levels of delusion pouring out of this guy's mouth is just baffling. Once again, he's reinventing systems that already exist. Those systems are not racist. They literally do what he's suggesting they do. Help those without the means. It just so happens that this is typically black people. I mean, the fucking idiot just showed the median household income of black Americans was $30-some-odd thousand, literally in last place on his list. Hello? If you use these systems to help out those with the worst.
Oh my god, it is true. What the fuck? Jeez. Nepali American, there are Nepali Americans over there. Oh my god, you guys are full of immigrants. What the hell is this? Look at these different types of Americans. Indian Americans, Filipino Americans, Taiwanese Americans, Sri Lankan Americans, Japanese Americans, Malaysian Americans, Chinese Americans, Pakistani Americans, White Americans, Korean Americans, Indonesia. The guys knew. Oh my god, you American had everybody in the world. What the hell is this? So what is everything together? You guys are a fucking nation of immigrants. I thought Canada was ethnic. See, look at this. What the hell is the difference between average American and white Americans? Who's average and the white? I want the differentiation. So we got Thai Americans, Bangladeshi Americans. Dude, if we get rid of all of these, there goes 50% of your population. And then your GDP will get cooked. What's that is a slogan from Asia? Yeah. Nepali, Hispanic, Latino, I think you saw.
List. Hello? If you use these systems to help out those with the worst financial situations, it would be black, then Hispanic, then everyone else. This guy is trying to invent the fork in 2026.
Racial wealth gap, and why is everyone talking about it? The racial wealth gap is a measure of wealth inequality between racial groups in the U.S. Here's a prime example. Black families make up 14% of the population, but own only 5% of American wealth, while white households make up 65% of the population, but control 80% of the wealth. The gap traces back to the 1863 emancipation.
This argument can also be immediately refuted whenever you look at different groups that are outside of white people that control, because like, you know, you look at 7%, it was like 80% or something like that. There's like a missing 15% there.
The video gets their information from the United States Census Bureau, where on that site they show that white Americans control 80% of the wealth in the country, and black Americans only make up about 5%. The 15% gap is other groups, mainly Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Native Americans. On this chart, you can see the insane disparity between the ethnic groups, and how even Asian Americans who have a higher overall median household income are dwarfed by the wealth disparity. There is no conspiracy here. White people disproportionately control the wealth of this country, and that 15% gap.
I mean, not all white people. I would say it's a certain group of white people that does it. You know? That is a problem we have right now. That is the reason why these group, the guy who is here is also a white person, right? And this guy is hitting on this people, you know? Because the people who are here made these guys hate these people. You see the difference?
Is simply the other non-black groups combined.
Proclamation, which led to freedom for almost 4 million black Americans.
That's a lot of people.
By 1860, their labor...
I think if this continues, I think black people need a separate nation for themselves. Within America, like what the fuck are they trying to do there? Like you see how dismantlement of discrimination, this is a problem.
60% of U.S. exports, $200 million a year, but black Americans received nothing.
Labor is not a necessary, like it is not a one-to-one value creator. Just because you work very hard or you do something doesn't necessarily mean that that has the same value as what it's creating for that company. This is like just more commie slop.
Asmongold just said that black slaves who significantly contributed to the wealth of the United States and received zero compensation for that.
So basically he said, hardworking people doesn't matter. The reversal
is commie slop.
Commie, what is the commie? Communism?
It's just buzzword.
Dude, if you want to be successful, try to steal, betray, evil. Communism, yeah. If you want to be successful and rich, be a fucking demon. The selling your soul to the demon is just you have to have no morality whatsoever. You will be rich. But you will burn in hell at the end though. I will make sure of it.
Words at this point. He
You know, that is how you become rich in this world right now. I just thought you could make a honest living and then be successful. No, not even a shot.
doesn't know what communism or slop means. Apparently, it's communism to expect payment for.
The good example for that is our President Abdul Kalam. Do you guys know how much value he had when he died? Fucking nothing. I would rather die a good person. That is the problem with me too. Not
labor.
that.
This guy's a fucking idiot.
Dude, I love this guy, dude. He's calling it as another lady idiot every breath.
Conversely, if you don't have access to home ownership, you don't have access to that type of equity and that cushion that you could get from having money saved from home ownership.
Housing discrimination allows banks
Well, and yeah, I mean, this isn't even an argument.
Saved from home ownership.
Housing discrimination allows banks
Well, and yeah, I mean, this isn't even an argument. I mean, I think housing discrimination is removed, right? I mean, they got rid of that. I mean, I'm sure like maybe somewhere in like, you know, again, Mississippi, there might be something like that, which is obviously bad. But in a general sense that this is removed. They got rid of this. Obviously, they got rid of this.
How? Okay, how do you know that? Where is the proof? Do you know any black guy? You don't even have a black guy in your fucking wood. Yeah, shut the fuck up, you racist bitch. He says the guy who never goes out of his house doesn't have any proof to prove his point that the people got rid of them. You know? You can't even have that generosity to have a black dude in your wood. Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Surprise, surprise, Asmongold does not know what he's talking about. Discrimination in housing is still a thing. It has quite literally never gone away.
Like most of these, the problem is, like you need to have BEI, otherwise these people will never hire the black people or the people with the race or color. That is the problem. Like most of these institutions are privatized because capitalism go bottom, right, for America. Yeah. America is a cuck country for capitalism, yeah. So those people will never hire the black people. Like, they just
don't. Injustices just change name and change form. The slave patrols became the police. The black codes became voter suppression. Racial covenants became the modern HOA. Do you notice that black people have a contentious relationship with every single concept I just named? You think that's by accident?
What do you mean?
That
At me, I love the video.
Making shit up? The problem with people like Asmongold is that they point to the old name or old form and go, see, that thing we called by this particular name no longer exists. Therefore, the underlying issue no longer exists. It's one of the most insidious forms of reactionary apologism because it allows people to sanitize current systems of discrimination by pretending that because the branding changed, the discrimination magically disappeared. Isn't it amazing how these people turn into fucking forensic scientists when looking into a program designed to level the playing field and deduce that it's racist against white people, but look at the insane racial wealth gaps and conclude, nope, everything's fine. Yeah, that's white supremacy, guy. Anyway, to save time, we're going to fast forward through this rambling session as he just reacts to the video on housing. He's not responding to me in particular. He's just repeating himself and saying that redlining happened to other groups and that people are whining at white people for no reason. This is the United States Treasury website literally admitting one of the factors for this gap is due to the United States government. They are admitting their policies stifled black home ownership.
It did.
Systemic racism.
Yes. And now we fixed it.
We fixed systemic racism, everyone. You know, because Steam Train Maury here said so. Now,
Fixed it. You said it, they fixed it, right? Where? Do you got any proof for that? And isn't it a good idea to say that we got fixed it? Is this better to hear that these discrimination got fixed from a black guy instead of a white guy that did that in the first place, you know? Just saying.
Dumbass tweet. The first fucking line from this
Which, by the way, is completely nothing about what I said. This has nothing, which by the way,
Now, back to Zach's dumbass tweet. The first fucking line from this
which by the way, is completely nothing about what I said. This has nothing to do with it at all.
genius is that black people benefit from systemic racism.
Correct.
Now, I know what Zach is trying to say here,
Yes.
that through policies like affirmative action, black people benefit, and that because
Not
affirmative
offensively
action is a
himself because
governmental
he pulls off
policy
an
that is
British.
systemic.
Yes.
The problem with this line of logic is that it's not racism.
Now he has none.
Okay, that means that. Oh my god. Whatever you want to call it, it's bad. Like, I don't know. You want to say it's prejudice. You want to say that it's bias. You want to say that it's unfair. Whatever you want to call it, it's still going to be bad.
All of those words mean different things, Zach. For example, you can be prejudiced against women, but not racist against Hispanic men. You can be biased against Asian food, but not racist towards Asian people. Words mean things. Also, this is the problem with pausing the video when you lose control of your impulses. I'm going to explain what I'm talking about immediately after this, you simpleton. That's why the red button is on the screen. Notice how in that image you're shutting up and listening? Yeah, be like that, Asmongold, and shut your stinking ass mouth. You've turned a 16-minute video into an hour-long cope session precisely because you're like a child in the backseat of a road trip. Shut up.
He's dancing around terminology. Yes, obviously.
Yes, affirmative action effectively produced outcomes where an equally qualified white man could be disqualified for an equally qualified black man. But
that's racist.
Oh my God, shut the fuck up, you harebrained idiot. We will be skipping his reaction because holy shit, I have to force him to let me speak at this point. This process also held that an equally qualified white woman would be chosen over an equally qualified black man. In fact,
That is true. That will happen if you don't have DEI.
white
It's not race.
women were the largest beneficiaries of DEI and affirmative action policies. It's starting to dawn on him, everybody. It's almost like I was still talking, and pausing before I can finish a thought prevents me from being able to explain what I'm talking about, and that I might answer a question you may have before you make yourself look like a buffoon.
So because white women were beneficiaries of DEI, it doesn't mean that DEI was racist?
Yes, you stupid fuck, because if it benefits every ethnic group, it is not racist by definition. Your tweet said it was racist. I am responding to your tweet. We have finally got to the part of my video where I am directly responding to you. You have spent over 30 minutes saying I haven't responded to you, and the second you come across my actual response to you, you look like a skull wearing a beard, utterly speechless as your own stupidity dawns on you. You are watching a video essay, not a person speaking off the cuff during a live stream. Who knew it was a dumb idea to randomly pause during a video essay where the essayist purposefully places visual aids in the video that lets you know when it's safe to pause? Notice how your face is currently matching the red button? Exactly.
What is this here? Can I find this?
Dude, this guy is getting scored.
That's not even an argument. What is this?
Uh-huh. What is your
Primarily,
argument
like,
then?
again, do you want to know who the biggest beneficiaries of DEI are? It's not black people.
8 months
it's
ago.
white women. Those are the ones that are really winning out of DEI. They're the ones that are actually getting hired because of these processes. Yeah, it's fucking Karens. That's it.
Oh, I love this. The guy that doesn't know the difference between average and median is once again acting smug in a situation where he's owning himself. If you know that white women are the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action and DEI, how is it possible that you tweeted it was racist? Racist against which race? Because here you are admitting it benefits white people.
Yo,
Are
Zaylan,
white
hello,
women
hello.
not
What's
white
up?
people anymore? We know it benefits Asian, Black, and Hispanic people, so who is it racist towards? You've refuted your own argument, you
So I get
dimwit.
our DEI?
We know this. Everybody knows this.
Do they?
Because it's
I don't
Anita's
think
sister.
He knows this.
Saying that white women benefit from it too, so it can't be racist, is crazy.
No, saying
Not
something that
Arkansas?
benefits all ethnic
True.
groups is racist is crazy. You're just changing the definition of racism at this point to arbitrarily fit whatever argument you're trying to make. There is no logic to what you are saying. You have lost here.
It's both sexist and racist.
Now he's changing the definition of sexism. This man is high on copium and trying his damnedest to play off this utter defeat. You can see the gears turning in his head as he scrambles, trying to come up with a way of changing the narrative. I love to see you people squirm. So by definition and by practice, affirmative action
Even with the parameters of an own argument, he's wrong about two things at the same time. Yep.
We have bigger problems to deal with, such as
racist policy, because all ethnic groups benefited from that policy and it disproportionately affected gender. So it is a
All
law.
ethnic groups benefited from it and it disproportionately affected gender. Yes, it did affect gender as well. But actually, definitely white men did not benefit from it, number one. And also, just because it benefits gender doesn't mean that it also benefits ethnic groups. And it also did create a tier list. And if that wasn't the case, then you wouldn't see the medical school acceptance rates be so different.
Scrambled eggs. Notice how fast he's talking? He's panicking, trying to say anything that he thinks will save his narrative. Verbal diarrhea, a classic sign of someone who is nervous and embarrassed. This is precisely what he was trying to avoid by not responding to my last video, because I
mean, if we could support Iran and then bomb the shit out of the USA mentally that's so standing all that and then help with Iran, you know? If I were India, that's what I would do. Who the fuck are you to block our oil resources? Yeah, support the Iran and then blow the shit out of American aircraft.
16 minutes.
Think about that.
Give me my DOS after 23, it'll fix it. Strip back systematic racism.
That affirmative action was racist.
Yeah.
The best you
Not was, is.
Reservation, corruption, and many more. What reservation? I don't know much about the northern politics because I'm in Tamil Nadu. You know, we don't really get affected by BJP that much. Because we never let the BJP rule over us.
It's race.
Did the quickest Tamil people have more edging here, but not gonna have a bus?
It is race.
Oh, you were saying, you gotta say, tell me about the Indian politics too. I could look it up. I could look up the cockroach party. I don't know what they did. And then they got immediately suppressed.
Because there are some instances of them continuing to do it now, which I think need to be shut down by the government.
argue here is that it is somewhat discriminatory towards white men and white men specifically, because it literally benefits every single other group. And even then, that would be a lie, as affirmative action includes mandates for hiring veterans and people with disabilities. Both groups.
This is intentionally misunderstanding.
Oh, I agree, Zach. I agree. So no, affirmative action and DEI are not a form of systemic racism. And no, black people and other minority groups do not enjoy preferential treatment at the expense of white and Asian people.
They absolutely do. They overwhelmingly do, and it's obvious. This is the reason why you have the medical school acceptance rates. This is the reason why there are so many opportunities that are presented for people that are black.
You keep repeating yourself there, Zach. You've mentioned medical school at least twice, and this video does touch on school acceptance rates, but you predictably pause during a section where you shouldn't have. And we are all noticing a distinct lack of you providing any evidence for the claim you are making. You had ready-made URLs earlier. We're the ones proving that black people benefit at the expense of Asian people. We're waiting.
Like if you look at how many advocacy groups and how many foundations are set up to benefit
do you think there is a good chance that people who compare that as a Asmongold fan?
black people versus
Or is it because of one of the ministers called the teenage guys a cockroach?
white people on the basis of their skin color?
You are not describing affirmative action, you Nimrod. You are talking about advocacy groups for marginalized people. Affirmative action is a corrective concept meant to even the playing field in hiring practices and school admissions. A group that focuses on the issues of a historically marginalized community is not affirmative action. You are talking out of your ass, and no one can tell because it stinks either way.
So to say that this isn't true is to just actively deny reality. I think that a lot of people don't like saying what I'm saying because people are afraid that people will say that you're racist for saying this.
No, people just don't want to sound dumb. What you are saying is dumb. You said a program that benefits both men and women is sexist, and that programs that specifically help marginalized communities are racist. Recognize that your position is unpopular not due to people being afraid, but because you are a moron shouting conspiracy theories while living in a cesspit. You are incredibly lucky the internet exists, because if this were 1996, you'd be standing on a soapbox by the train yard. You are a conspiracy theorist and a bigoted piece of shit. No one in their right minds wants to be associated with you or the things you believe and say.
But in fact, I'm one of the only people that
Let's
isn't
go.
racist. I think that everybody should be given a fair chance, and that also means that if you fail your fair chance, you lost fair and square. And the problem is that if you look at these different graphs, you can clearly see that there is a bias that's being set for race. There's a bias that's being set for ethnicity. And the moment that you start grading on a curve based off of ethnicity is the moment that you are literally institutionalizing and creating systematic racism. Just because the racism benefits you doesn't make it not racism. It just means that it's benefiting you, so you want to pretend like it's not happening.
Just because the racism benefits you doesn't make it not racism. It just means that it's benefiting you, so you want to pretend like it's not happening.
Are you unaware that Asians are a minority group in the United States too?
Exactly. So why is the crime rate so much different?
Because Asian people are recent immigrants to the United States and were not subjected to the scope of marginalization that Black Americans were. The people that arrived here tended to be more educated, better off financially, and established in their career path upon arrival. The general pattern of first-generation immigrants is that they commit lower rates of crime than native-born members of the same ethnic
Let's
group,
go.
as native-born second and on generations commit crime at higher rates than those of the first generation. In comparison to Black Americans, these groups weren't forced to live in ghettos, denied loans for businesses and homes, or had laws on the books specifically targeting them the way that Black people did. Asian people 100% faced and continue to face hardship in America, but we are talking about completely different magnitudes. The answer to your question is that Asians are simply treated better than Black people in America, and they always have been. But can you explain the crime rate of white people, Zach? Why are Asians better than you in this regard? You never faced the levels of historic marginalization of Black people. You weren't forcibly taken from Europe and brought here to work against your will. You weren't terrorized in the streets and denied property and liberty. And yet, you're the leader in nearly every single category in crime in this country. Why are white people committing all that crime? Are you bored? You just looking for something to do? At least Black people have the excuse of being treated like shit. What's
I got views on violations. Let's see. White. Oh my god, it is true. The what to prove and when do you get this from? Like it's almost doubled over here. Or that. What is this? Total 6 offenses except rape and prostitution. Okay, it's almost twice. American Indian were barely there. 69.
yours?
Opposition and Indian ally forced. I think both the parties suck dick. That is the problem you have in India. BJP and Congress, right? I think they are Congress. You gotta come up with a new party, another party that actually for the people. For the people, by the people. They don't have to have nepotism. They don't have to have any religion. You know? That kind of party we need to establish in India. And they have to have better amount of people. CJP follow went through. Something like that. I mean, cockroaches kind of pathetic, but if the goal is right, yeah.
Don't give me the excuse that you're the majority.
Because both are thieving bitches. They just thieve our country and then rob our resources. And then for their own profit. If you want to see, look up that Ambani and Adani's GDP growth in the past 10 years. And then correlate that with the BJP. Literally dumb as fuck. They tax the normal working class people, the middle class people us. The more we have to pay GST for everything. But are we getting any benefit from paying GST? Nothing, you know? They're just robbing us with the taxes, but we don't get anything in return.
In this country, so you should be leading in crime.
We did it, what? What do you got? What do you got from your thanks, Tony? Let's go. NH loads are great. Okay, and next is a me or something, yeah. of the. Like, the problem with the BJP is he is not getting more popular these days. He is getting very less popular because he didn't really apply to the daily lives of the people. If that made it one was. Where the city went from 16 hours to 22. Why it's not 24? Internet and welfare has less laws.
Crime, Japan and Korea are nearly homogenous, and those people still commit significantly less crime than white Americans. China has 7 times the population of white America and still has a lower crime rate than white Americans. You see, you are the anomaly. You've historically had all the advantages, live in the best neighborhoods, control 80% of the wealth, are in control of nearly every major institution in this country. And yet white Americans have homicide rates close to countries like Argentina, Uruguay, or parts of Eastern Europe. What's your excuse? Why can't you be more like Asians? Why would you group those two together, Zach? Are you
That's your argument?
Asians, yeah.
No, I don't want to argue.
The ridiculous Supreme Court ruling.
I am saying that both parties are not good. They are not doing anything.
Students
ridiculous Supreme Court.
To reduce illegal hooking. Okay.
Versus Harvard.
What?
Look, like, I don't know about India, dude. I'm going to be honest. I don't really cover Indian politics that much. I did cover the Tamil Nadu politics. But the thing I am getting here from South India is I don't think BJP is not doing anything better. This used to be 75. I remember it quite well because I'm quite old. This money value is used to be 75. BJP made it to reach 100.
Putting that aside for the moment.
They're fixing that though. I don't see it. It's only climbing. Look at this.
Look at the graph. That's insane. Look at this graph. Oh my God.
Oh my God. 4 whole years. What Zach is doing here is pretending history began in 2013. Black Americans were massively underrepresented in medicine for most of modern American history due to segregation and exclusion from medical schools and the destruction of black medical institutions after the Flexner Report. Abraham Flexner got all but 2 black medical schools shut down, setting black American medical students back decades. By the 1950s, major medical schools literally had little to no black students at all. So when affirmative action and diversity initiatives began ramping up in the latter half of the 20th century, they were responding to a historical reality where black Americans had been systematically locked out of the profession for generations. The source of Zach's image is the Association of American Medical Colleges. Here's their website. On their site, they have a pie chart demonstrating the demographics of all active physicians by race or ethnicity. Black Americans make up 5% of this chart, the lowest of the groups on Zach's graph. They also show that black matriculants, or first-year enrollees, make up less than 3% as per the latest data. So what Zach is doing is trying to shock you by showing you a scary graph with no context. Black medical students are severely underrepresented, and affirmative action initiatives are seeking to correct a historical imbalance that was created due to racism. His graph
Hey, we think BJP is great and good for you, man.
This graph is showing
You
how
don't have to
each
convince me.
subgroup matches up within their own subgroup. For example, if we look at the group on the right, it's saying that 94% of all applicants with those MCAT scores and GPAs got accepted. Do you notice how these numbers don't add up to 100? Right, because this is acceptance rate within a subgroup, not the amount of people that got accepted. If 100 black applicants applied and there's a 94% acceptance rate within that subgroup, that's 94 students. However, if 400 white students applied and there's a 63% acceptance rate within that subgroup, that's 252 students. That's what this graph is showing, the acceptance rate within a subgroup. The reason the black acceptance rate within its subgroup is higher is because the total number of black applicants is lower. Here is the data from one of the years represented in Zach's graph. This table is showing the number of black applicants total. As you can see, Howard University got the most black medical student applicants that year with 89 applicants. When we look at white students of that same year, the University of Michigan at Ann Arbor got the most applicants with 485 applicants. When we look at Asian students, UCLA got the most applicants with 430 applicants. If we go back to Zach's graph and assume these applicants fit the criteria of those rows on the right, this would mean there were 84 black students, 306 white students, and 250 Asian students. Do you now understand how Zach is misleading you with the usage of this graph? And this is on top of the fact that when you actually look at where black students applied, they tended to be HBCUs and schools in the southern United States, not schools that were appealing to Asians, who generally preferred schools in my home state of California. These two groups are not in conflict. And finally, if we look at the current data, there is a slight bump in the number of black and Asian applicants, but overall, the trend remains steady. Zach does not know what he's talking about, and he's hoping that you won't notice that with his theatrics.
Look at the graph. That's insane. Look at this graph. Oh my God. 56 versus 6 and 8%. The reason why I include Asians is because Asians are the only other minority group that get both ends of the shit stick. Not only were they put in internment camps if you were Japanese in World War II, but on top of that, now you're being systematically disenfranchised in college because you're doing too well. No, that's the reason why I'm including them. It's because it's bullshit. It's bullshit for them. And also, a lot of the things that are happening for white people are not only happening to white people, that they're worse for Asians. There's the chart right there. But it's the Supreme Court ruling is ridiculous. Oh, of course. So now let's get into how all the courts are rigged. Oh my God.
The chart is a decade old, freaking ass. Statistics, look at this. Yeah, in
Right
2026.
there. But it's the Supreme Court ruling is ridiculous. Oh, of course. So now let's get into how all the courts are rigged. Oh my God.
Ta-da! What other areas are black and Hispanic people benefiting at the expense of Asian people besides the overstated college admissions issue?
Overstated. This is overstated, guys. It's overstated.
Ta-da! Give examples. I'm sure everyone would like to hear them, Zach. And please, be very specific.
Is this it? Where the areas of black and Hispanic people benefiting at the expense of Asian people? There's that one. The college is massive.
Mag and I used to go days without
He had
electricity in
literally
summer.
zero
Freaking
examples
Buffett.
besides college.
In
I
winters
asked
is
him to
all
provide
unstable.
a
What is
single
summer?
other example, and
Long
he
and winters.
couldn't do it.
Nice.
Mainly because he doesn't actually give a fuck about Asian people and is performing here, but also due to the fact that there aren't any other examples, and that affirmative action is beneficial to Asian people, something
Where are
they,
you from?
with the exception of
Like,
the
you can just
Chinese,
mention your
agree
state.
with. I just proved again that the college admissions issue is overstated and overblown. So, now that this talking point is thoroughly debunked,
Will you
where
openly
are
support
black and
BJP?
Hispanic
Sure.
people benefiting at the expense of Asians? Remember, I am responding to this tweet where
I
that's
don't mind.
exactly what he said. If he cannot provide another example, this is proof that he doesn't care about Asians and is simply weaponizing them against other minority groups.
You thought of this?
We currently have a compromised Supreme Court that is doing its damnness to
The Supreme Court is compromised. They're making all the bad rulings. So basically, it's either you're right or they're scamming.
There's a third option, Toothless. How about the Supreme Court should be fair?
Can I do the list?
Since they didn't get voted in by the American public, they shouldn't be partisan. It's all fun and games when the courts and government are full of people on your side, but when the rabbit gets the gun, you will be right back here saying exactly what I am.
One up religion,
Play
bro.
fair.
I mean, it's a Hinduism is the majority religion in Tamil Nadu, not Tamil Nadu, in India. So it's easier to use that as a means.
Treat every citizen and potential citizen equally under the
It's a how like Americans use the white supremacy as a medium to take advantage of them. It's the same with the
law and to
BJP.
not rule based on party lines. The Supreme Court is currently not abiding by that, and it's obvious to anyone that's paying attention. And for those of you who aren't paying attention, let's see what
It's just
Zach's
a means
old pal
to
Grok
unite the
had to
people.
say.
I don't give a
Wow,
shit.
would you look at that? Yes, the data supports that the Supreme Court has shifted right since Trump's appointments. It's almost like I live in
One thing
reality
is about
and Zach
they use
lives in
this. So
filth.
So this is, yes.
How do you used to
finally,
divide
the
people a
Supreme
little?
Court is making the right
People for the
decisions.
castness these days, true.
Overwhelmingly conservative policies and rulings, and these rulings almost always come at the expense of Black Americans.
Yeah, that's because there's a lot of institutional racial advantages that Black Americans have that they shouldn't have. Things like affirmative action, DEI, preferential hiring processes, all of those things should be deleted.
He just named the same thing 3 times. Are there others? Will he provide any evidence? Is that t-shirt clean? Find out next time on Hobo Stream Z.
If there are no racial differences, then we should approach the problems like that by looking at commonalities that affect all groups of people, such as income.
Oh, come on, Zach. You're contradicting yourself here. You do believe that there are innate racial differences, or at least that's what you said. So if there are differences, your argument fails. You either accept that there are no racial differences and drop your Somalis or low IQ talking point, or there are racial differences and we have to keep affirmative action. You see, this is the problem with a guy who stands for nothing. His position flip-flops based on when he's talking. Months ago, he argued that white women benefit from affirmative action, and today he's saying it's racist. Months ago, he argued that Somalis inherently have a lower IQ, and today he's saying that because there are no racial differences, we should get rid of affirmative action and policies that seek to correct historical marginalization. This is a telltale sign of a grifter. The wind is blowing a different way, and so are Asmongold's talking points.
We don't have slavery anymore. We don't have Jim Crow anymore. We don't have segregation anymore. No matter how much people want to cosplay on Twitter thinking that they're, still in the Underground Railroad or something, we're not even anywhere near that at all. None of these things have anything to do with current day. It's income. So now you're malding about the Supreme Court case. Okay, got it.
Hinged on the idea that American institutions like Harvard already operate on a level playing field, which we know they don't.
Yes.
At Harvard specifically, there are legacy admissions, donor preferences, networking advantages, and wealth inheritance that disproportionately benefit white students.
Okay, they should get rid of that.
I agree. Is there a butt coming? There's a butt coming, isn't there?
And also, like, disproportionately benefiting white students, that doesn't make it bad.
Things that disproportionately benefit black people, that's bad. Things that disproportionately benefit white people,
that doesn't make it bad.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cannot make this
yeah,
shit
that
up.
doesn't make it work.
This is the thing. Like,
Racist bitch.
Oh
what a
God.
racist bitch.
This is why these people are actually just racist. They're actually just racist. They want to add.
Dude, this guy has had golly them with a racist mouth. Wow.
And say that, oh, well, it's bad because it disadvantages or it gives advantages to white people. Meanwhile, they want.
Dude, I wish they get what they want. Like have like this white country they want, and then it's so easier for them to just wipe them off the map. Please just get yourself for one country. White people, like white American, these guys, please do it. Please be an easier target for us.
Want something
please.
That's exclusive for an advantage for themselves.
The easier target for us to isolate your ass and obliterate you. Let's go.
This is as delusional and disingenuous as it gets. First of all, you just called me racist, Asmongold. Is that a claim you're willing to stand behind publicly? Because I'm pretty sure
Swabi has corruption issues that they've been hopping about a perfect body to win dream.
Twitch is going to ban
That we don't exist. Have you seen it? Have you seen how China became?
No, I mean, of course not. But anyway, this is what these people like to do. They like to make up bullshit. And the only reason really that I respond to this kind of stuff is because generally I don't want to get like banned on Twitch or something. And so I don't want people to create a narrative that like this is what I said and then I get in trouble for it.
Second, this part of my video is me talking about a guy who ignored the structural advantages white students receive at Harvard to focus on black student admissions. You would know that if you hadn't paused to rant during a part
I'm
of the
not sure
video.
what
There's a red do
Modi
not
G's
pause
plan
button on the
is.
screen. It's almost like you didn't allow me to complete a thought again.
Third, you're
literally doing the meme.
shopping and
When you're accustomed
okay.
to privilege, equality feels like oppression. Look at the chart you pulled up earlier. black people are at the very bottom. If there were a government program pulled up earlier.
Dude, Indian Americans are balling over there. Look at that. No wonder these people are fucking mad.
Equality feels like oppression. Look at the
Number one, baby. Get cooked. Yeah, like white people's days are over. You're gonna be a fucking Indian now. Whether you like it or not. You guys are cooked. I would have screenshot this and then piss people off in Twitter. Give me a second. This is so good.
You pulled up earlier. Black people are at the very bottom. If there were a government program that specifically helped black and Hispanic people earn enough money to simply match and only match the white median household income, you would call that a racist policy. And of course, upon hearing me say this right now, you would cope and lie and say that you wouldn't. But the truth is that this is exactly what you're doing with affirmative action, because all these programs are seeking to do is exactly that. Help historically marginalized groups get on an equal playing field.
Wow.
The Asian cohort went from 37% to 37%. Literally zero change to them, but a 4% drop in black student admission. Which, if you haven't been paying attention, is the fucking goal. The group that's...
Isn't the goal supposed to be having a fair admission process where you're able to apply and then be judged based off of your ability to, perform well in a college? Like, I thought the goal isn't to get black people into college. The goal isn't to get white people into college. The goal is to get smart people into college.
This guy routinely says the stupidest shit imaginable.
Guess who didn't go to the college? There it is. Get cooked. Call this bitch out. Call this uneducated fuck out. Let's go.
The goal is to...
At least Hassan went to a college. He has a bachelor's of arts degree. That guy is actually more educated than his ass. I said, no way. What happened?
Get all people into college, Zach, because that's how they become smart people. The evidence shows that college-educated people are beneficial to society and commit significantly less crime. You know, that thing you're pretending to care about? The more educated a society is, the fewer Asmongolds we have. As for students performing well, you don't even care about that. You put a graph on the screen showing black medical students with a 30 on their MCATs and high GPAs and got mad about it while misunderstanding the fucking graph. So miss me with your bullshit copathon ass on breath, because the reality is that even when black students perform well academically, you people will come up with another ridiculous reason they don't belong. Edward Blum, who has dedicated his entire career to dismantling progress in racial equality and
based patriot champion,
specifically black representation.
Black representation. This is the verbal sleight of hand that these people try to use, is they try to use terms like representation and equality when what they're really saying is institutional preferential treatment that is now being rescinded because the institutional preferential treatment is no longer justified because the counterbalance doesn't exist anymore.
This is refuted with a simple question. Why are black people the lowest on the socioeconomic ladder? If these things don't exist and we no longer need to correct for disparity, why are there still disparities? You said it yourself earlier that we should help those without the means. Which group is that, Zach? Go on, you can do it.
Crying about a DEI district. Yeah, those are getting deleted now, aren't they? It's time to vote like an American. I know, it must be horrible. You can't be basing decisions off of racial bias.
Oh, really? I think you should be telling that to white people in your state of Texas, Zach, because that's exactly what they're doing.
Like, disproportionately benefiting whites doesn't make it bad. You know, like me, I don't know. I was hoping people would vote as Americans, not as an ethnicity. I don't want to have ethnic tribal voting in America. No.
Like, the problem with this guy is he won't talk about whatever the fuck that is popular. He doesn't really care about any of this. Like, that is the problem. And he has higher influence in Twitch. Like, people getting basically got misinformation from this guy. And then they start to hate other people for no reason. That's why many people are against him, including myself.
Nobody wants this. You think you do, but you don't. It will create chaos.
You know?
This moron is completely off topic. What we are talking about is gerrymandering in Texas, which reduces the voice of black Texans who historically vote Democrat. Everyone with a brain knows why Texas gerrymandered their
Also, I
districts
don't
to
like
hell,
him.
and
Yeah,
it has
fuck
nothing
him.
to do with what this used
I don't
petri
like him
dish is
either.
rambling about.
That's
This
why we were
one was
watching a hate
important
video about
because
this
it
guy.
resulted in a landmark decision that allowed historically racially discriminant states in the South to fuck with voter ID laws, removing.
Don't tell me this is somebody that thinks voter ID laws are racist, right? If voter ID laws are racist, is it racist to buy alcohol?
You know, I considered turning this video off at this moment. I know I'm dealing with a person that has a 4th grade education, but it gets to a point where listening to this shit brings down one's intelligence level. I physically felt one of the wrinkles in my brain smooth out after hearing that, and now it totally makes sense why Asmongold's audience behaves the way they do. Listening to this man speak actually makes you dumber.
I'm sorry, but if you're too stupid to get an ID, I don't care what skin color you are, I don't want you to vote.
Then I am grateful that it is not up to you.
The reason voter ID laws result in voter
too.
suppression is because the types of IDs advocates of these laws want specifically target
NASA
lower
ikaw
income
cast
people.
of Incal
And
races
as
blue.
we all learned earlier, class,
They've been doing that
there
for
is
the
a
past
very
3,000 years.
specific type of person that is lower income.
The niggas.
We know that voter ID laws don't protect against voter fraud because voter fraud is not an actual problem in the United States. According to the Heritage Foundation, you know, the right-wing think tank that led Project 2025, voter fraud is minuscule, accounting for tens of votes over the past 38 years. So if right-wingers know that voter fraud isn't a thing that's happening, why do they push voter ID laws so hard?
The niggas.
Those that affect or benefit black people. Just like I
Yes.
pointed out in my last video, it's a strange coincidence everything Zach promotes is backed by some white guy whose life goal is to shit on black people. Ew. We didn't need to see those cinnamon toast crunch you call teeth.
Are they right or not?
No, gingivitis man. They are not. That's why we are here, to dispel bullshit from bullshit artists. That's why you're in this series. If you made it to a Birdman video, you done fucked up. I have an entire video showing why Lynn was wrong. You know, the one where you lied and said I called you a racist? So the rest of this video is him watching another video and rambling incoherencies for another couple of minutes, the most interesting of which is where he directly called Asians a model minority.
Yeah, they are a model minority. It's a fact. It's not a myth, it's a fact.
Asmongold responded to this?
Look at
Really?
crime rates, look at success rates, look at income and everything. Yeah. I
This
wish
isn't
everybody that came
the-
here acted like that. It's not a myth, it's a fact.
It came
That's a
yesterday.
racial stereotype, by the way, and I'm sure all Asian people watching this would be interested to hear that. He thinks you're a good little dog, doing what you're told and not stepping out of line. This is a form of racial essentialism, which itself is a form of racism. Because Asmongold is a racist, said at that time.
Yo. What's the channel? Okay. Wow, that's nah. I'm good. I don't want to hear about anything about that little bitch's opinions. Saw that I began not to like it when I asked for my name. It's related to the cast. Oh.